Hello, and welcome. I am Varden Heste, and we are back with Katawa Shoujo. Hello guys, good to see you. Let's see. So, last we left off, I made a mistake. So, I went back to check to see if I'm doing the right choices, and it turned out I made the wrong one here. I was supposed to do the other one. But that's okay, we don't have to go that far back, so it's alright. But yeah, this is where I made a mistake. So it's not too bad. So we'll go ahead and rectify that. Luckily, it wasn't too far back. Let's see. What shall I do? Well, I guess start. Okay, let's go. Rectify my mistake. So I have to tell the truth, which is what I would normally. I would have picked this if I wasn't trying to go for the right choice. So I should have went with my instincts. That was my fault. Sorry, I'm not in very good condition. It's all right. I just need to catch my breath. My condition isn't the best these days. Oh? Is it something that is related to you being transferred here, I mean? She cuts herself off rather abruptly, maybe realizing she was being a bit intrusive. Her instincts are sharp though, and while I don't like the subject, it's just not like I should lie about it. If it's Lily, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being. Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought. Lily doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. And I realized what game you haven't played yet. What game have I played? If you're gonna say that phone game, then no. I'm probably never gonna play the phone game. Yandere Simulator. Oh, Yandere Simulator. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. That game has been through all sorts of things, you know. Hello Zero. It's good to see you. I don't know. I mean, like, the game itself looks fun, and if it would have actually been developed by a competent person, then it probably would have been a very fun game to play. But sadly, it kind of just fell off. But yes, sans. But yeah, that does look like the concept itself. I do like. I think the concept is pretty good. I just wish it was developed by somebody who knew what they were doing. Lily doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. As she furrows her brow, Lily's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that not all share her own comfort about such things. No, it's okay. I have a pretty, I guess the best way to put it would be messed up heart. Arrhythmia. I had a bad heart attack a while ago because of it, and spent most of the spring in a hospital. Ended in Yamaku on doctor's orders. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer, though, only seems to make Lily furrow her brow even further. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react, given we don't really know each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given I have the exact same reaction. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization. Wait, so the time when Emmy and you collided in the hallway? I grimaced slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing the topic. Well, Varden, if you're looking for a dating simulator with dangerous girls, they have made a couple of them. Oh, really? That certainly would be fun. I don't know, like, because the thing is, most dating simulators are just, age games. So, they're just adult games. So it's really hard to find any, like, particularly just, I don't know, just simply dating games, You know what I mean. While I do want to how do I say this word? Assuage her concern. Phantom of Inferno is one. Oh, Phantom of Inferno. I'll have to check that out. I do need more visual novel games, or just games in general. I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I try to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realize the futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of her mural, as if lightning struck her. She had been so quiet for almost all of the walk back that I had all but forgotten she was here. It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday, the 8th of June. This is bad. Bad why? I think I am going to go in a fetal position and throw up, possibly in reverse order. Is something wrong? No, nothing is wrong. It's Friday and nothing is wrong yet. This mural, it's going to need to be finished by Sunday, so everything is all right. Do you have any drugs or a time machine? This is not good, not good. So she's behind her schedule, recalling Shizune's exasperation at Rin's carefree attitude several days ago. I don't know what to think. She has left herself open for a told you so, unless she can pull off whatever needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Rin keeps staring at her mural, looking as mortified as she can. And I'm still working on my animation. I usually do them faster. Well, sometimes it takes a bit of time. Leave me. I'm going to need to work for a while. I glance at Lily, expecting her to share an incredulous look with me as I roll my eyes, but then I realize she's not one to do that kind of thing. Leave me. We do, of course, not wanting to aggravate her any more than she already is. There is a churning bad feeling in my gut. Rin sure has a knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like a person who would never be left alone, who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone. She sounded like she was going to into shock or something. I'm sure she will be just fine. She's just how do you say? Lily cocks her head a little. trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique. Because I don't know how to draw fighting stuff. Oh, well, that's definitely a skill to be acquired. And you will acquire it. It's definitely difficult at first, you know. I mean, I don't know much about drawing in general, but I imagine it's difficult. Yes, a very unique person. I guess you could say that. She giggles at the notion, melodiciously nodding in agreement. Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance. So my guess was right. Lily offers a slight, apologetic smile, as if she was sorry that her own shortcomings had prevented her from becoming closer to Rin. I'm not one to blame her at all. Lily lets slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's as exhausted by all this as I am. I'd better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for the company, Hisao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Relaxed, I'd say, but that's probably just relief over getting rid of Rin, maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. But there's a lot of references and funny stuff. Nice. There we go. I had to redo that choice. And now we're back here. Let's go ahead and save. Save here. There we go. The students roll into class for a Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Mutao lurches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students are the only people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can partly be attributed to the 2 empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present, probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she is making up for Shizune's lack of voice. Nakai, can I speak to you for a moment? It's so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Mutao approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up, follow him out into the hallway. Mutao stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he is trying to say. Not knowing what is going on, I wait silently. So tell me, how are things? Things? I expected Mutao to be a little vague, but this is pushing the limits. You know, things. You've had a week to settle in now, so how are things? Fine, I guess. I see. And how is your condition? The pause before condition seemed a little unnecessary. Haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes across Mutao's face. Good, that's good. The school nurse was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself a bit too hard. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense. I'd ask that you don't blow us off so freely. As much as we try to give you the level of education that you would get at a normal school, you have to realize that you have limits. Our goal is to make sure that you know where those limits are and how to maximize your potential within them. Do you follow me? I guess. I mean, I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Mutao taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there who realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you've got to keep up with these things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world, and we're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the lay person, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Mutao's serious talk is over, and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think in hindsight that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we? My relief at that suggestion is insurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Mutao pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant, I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on the questions on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped on the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Mutao does not even notice them. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silence that Mutao and I left it in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away until finally the bells cry out, ending the torment. Before you all leave, I expect the answers for those problems by Monday, and I finally didn't sleep through the stream. Nice. Very nice. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issues at hand. Did you ever play Andy and Lele? I have not played Andy and Lele. I have not at all. I should probably do that. I don't know if I was considering it. I didn't know if it was my kind of game, you know. But that would be a fun game. I think it's not done yet, though, if I'm understand correctly. I think there's only, one chapter? It's supposed to be multiple chapters or something like that. I'd probably wait until it's fully done for Andy and Lele. And then I'll play that one. Let's see. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, the festival, and all tomorrow. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of my business. I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either, so an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. My pencil lead splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako. Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lily. Oh no, Hanako, no. I want Hanako, no. 3 so far, and yet still not complete. I can't say that I like the topics, but I don't mind how it approaches them. I'll definitely consider that game. I've definitely heard of it. But yeah, so there's 3 chapters. Yeah, but I definitely want to wait until it's done, so I don't have to just kind of, get to, like, say, chapter 3 and be like, oh man, that's it. I gotta wait. See, they talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lily leaves down the hall, and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye, out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her, though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading in the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. But why would Lily leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. Oh, that's right. I think Lily mentioned something about going to town today before Rin bumped into us. The thought of the walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon make me yearn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. Giving into one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or any day other than this one. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenji. Heck no, I don't want to hang out with Kenji. He doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. Changing tags, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako. Yes, do that. But by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. There's got to be something to do that can kill the time. Go to the library. The library seems as good as place as any to go. Hanako looked as if she was taken pretty off guard by Lily leaving, so she might want someone to talk to. Slinging my bag over my shoulder, I make my way out of the classroom. I walk down the hallway to the library, past a multitude of closed doors. Though each one the sound of for a furious rehearsal can be heard, rock music blares out of one door, almost as loud as a concert. I guess that's one of the advantages of a private school. There are actually enough rooms to go around at a time like this. And when I think about it, the grounds and the buildings of the school are kept in pretty good condition. That can't be too cheap. Let's see. I read that. I've heard that this place has some pretty serious benefactors. The walls of the library only partially insulate the noise of the festival preparations, but they're the only sounds to be heard. Not a soul stirs here, with everyone apparently enjoying the weather outside while working on the festival events. Yuko isn't here either. Maybe she doesn't work on Saturdays. I quietly walk through the library, now fairly familiar with its layout. I head to the back where Hanako's private little corner is. I run my hand along the spines of the books on the way through, feeling the individual textures of each as I glance across the titles. I used to do this all the time at the library, at the hospital. Some things never change, I guess. Like the smell of a library. No matter how much care you take, the paper in books is always going to degrade with time. Well, if you do decide to stream, that I would suggest a collab. It will make things easier. Oh, what, the Lele? Annie Lele? I don't know if I want to collab that game. I don't know. Not sure. So, like, games you kind of just read, you know, like, I don't know. How would that make it easier? I don't know. It's not a co-op game, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure you can have two other people read. Like, I'll read one and someone else reads the other. I mean, there's that. You can do that. But I don't know. I don't know. Probably. No matter which library you go into, anywhere in the world, it must have that same musty smell. I find something that looks light enough to read without any major thought involved, then look for Hanako in the reading area. Once again, she is sitting on a beanbag with her back to the bookshelf, reading the same book she had in the classroom. She's slowly making her way through the pages. Unlike last time I saw her here, I quietly take a seat in a beanbag. The noise is enough to catch her attention, but not startle her. The delicate routine that must be followed each and every time I try to talk to her almost feels like a hunting game. Is that the same book as before? Yes, I'm almost finished. Cool. I wonder if I should. Do you mind if I borrow it when you're finished? My mouth is faster than my mind, it seems. Sure, you may not like it, but I'm sure it can't be that bad. After all, you're stuck with it, haven't you? You've stuck with it, haven't you? I guess. I settle into my beanbag and set about reading my own book that had been buried in my bag. It's a light novel about pirates. To be honest, I'm barely skimming over the words, having chosen the book merely because it belongs to a different genre than I usually read. Finding it hard to muster enough enthusiasm to finish the book, and noting that I've inadvertently distracted Hanako quite a bit, I decide to try and make conversation. So, I see Lily left without you. She nods before taking her eyes off her book. She must have been really into it after all. Lily said she had to go and meet someone. Oh? Akira, her sister. Oh, sister, I hadn't heard her talk about her family. She and Akira used to live together. I thought all the students lived in the dorms. We don't have to. But it's easier, right? I mean, there's a food here and you're close to the school. I don't think I've ever been to class on time so often in my life. Her badly hidden smile proves quite rewarding. Oh. In the back of my mind, I know I have a bit of homework to catch up on, but it's quite comfortable in here. No one can find me and force me into working for their pet project either. Though now that I'm thinking about the festival, another question comes up. Hey Hanako, what are you doing for the festival? For a split second, I think that Hanako's about to throw her book in the air from shock. Sorry? I was just asking what you're doing for the festival tomorrow. Anything planned? Hello, Leather. Hello, it's good to see you. I don't know. Hanako answers in the way that people do when they don't want you to ask any more questions. I take it large crowds and loud music aren't really her thing. Oh, okay. Change the subject. So, what's Lily's sister like? She's nice. She's pretty like Lily, but she dresses businesslike. Businesslike? She's always wearing a suit. Oh, I see. And that makes her less pretty somehow? Hanako gives an embarrassed shake of her head. No, just different. I'll admit it. This has got me intrigued. To hear Hanako talk about someone other than Lily is a first, and to be complimentary about it too. But as I try to picture this mystery sister, all I can think of is Lily in a suit, and I can't imagine that not being attractive, not at all. Well, one day you'll have to introduce me to her. Oh, okay. Our brief conversation ends as abruptly as it started, and we both return to our novels. The passage of time is marked only by the gradual movement of the patch of light cast through the window, Slowly, the noises from the various rehearsals in the building fade out and die as students start to get hungry and tired. Just thinking about that makes my stomach start to turn knots around itself. I think it's time to head back. Do you think Lily would be back by now? I think I might head back to my dorm. I'm pretty tired from this week. And not a word of that is a lie. Moving to a new school as it ramps up for a major event has been taxing, to say the least. Oh my gosh, I lost connection with her for a second. Sorry, but I need to sleep because I have schools tomorrow. Well, have a good day at time at school tomorrow. Hopefully have a very good day. Doo-doo. I can feel myself nodding off as I read my book. You lost connection? Only for a split second. I think it was not enough to you probably wouldn't have seen it because I think it was only for a second. And there is like a delay. There's like a for the stream. So you probably didn't see it at all. Yeah, it was only for like a split second. So nothing lost. Nothing lost. Yeah, it's been happening a couple times these last couple of days, but it's only for like a very, very short amount of time. Yeah, because on my end, it disconnected my chat and then it reconnected. And that's happened twice today, and that's happened a couple times in the days past. But it's always been very fast, so not a problem. Hasn't affected the stream at all. But just wondering, because once I saw it, I kind of got flashbacks to that week, or was it a week or two, when my internet was really bad. I was getting worried again. It's like, no, not again, no. But luckily, it's not that bad. I can feel myself nodding off as I read my book. Oh, okay. I might stay here a little longer. Looking at Hanako's book, I can see that she is only a few pages away from completing it. For a moment, I consider hanging around until she finishes, but once again my stomach turns, emitting a gurgling sound. Just wait for her, man. Please, please wait for her. Sure thing. Well, I'm going to head off before it gets dark. I'll see you around, okay? It was 2 weeks, then it got better for 3, then it happened again for 2. That's right. On my end, not on your stream, but I will get lost connection from YouTube before it retries the connection. Okay, that's been happening to me too, so I wonder if it might be a YouTube thing then. It might be a YouTube thing. Hello, Sunshine. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Let's go ahead. And hopefully it's just, you know, a very minor, doesn't affect anything problem. But let's continue. Let's continue. I wish you would stay with her. Come on, stay with her. Sure thing. Well, I'm going to head off before it gets dark. I'll see you around, okay? I'm bored and and you playing anything interesting? Let's see, I am playing, let's see, Katawa Shoujo. More like reading. And it's me, Alia. Oh, Alia. I think I remember your name being Sunshine before. It's hard to remember, because Alia I do remember very well. But yeah, the Sunshine thing takes me a bit to remember. Let's go ahead and continue. No, I'm just reading. I'm trying to do her route. This girl's route right here. Because in my opinion, she's the cutest out of all the girls. Yes, I'm on my phone. I see, I see. Alia is my iPad. Ah, I see, I see. Makes sense, makes sense. Oh. I played this, I already did one run before and I got Emmy. And it turns out Emmy's a super easy to get her route. But this is the girl I wanted to get the route for in the first place. Oh my Joker YouTube. What the heck? YouTube is angry noises. It's angry. Very angry. Sure thing. Well, I'm going to... Did I read this already? I'm going to head off before it gets dark. See you around, okay? Okay. See you, Hisao. Later. Hisao? The garden and Hisao sitting in a tree. No. No, no, no. And no, I'm not... No, her name is Hanako. Her name is Hanako. I'm, the Hisao is the character I'm playing. Thank you for hanging out with me. Oh, oh, that's so nice. Oh, I can see how hard it was for her to get that simple sentence out of her mouth. It leaves me hanging for a moment. Of course I like Hanako. Come on, how can you not like Hanako? Look at her. So there is someone in this school who is even lonelier than me. Maybe lonely is a wrong word. I haven't been lacking company for the first week, but I've still managed to feel somewhat alone and detached. Interesting. Maybe lonely is a wrong word for Hanako too. She has Lily after all, doesn't she? See, YouTube is now putting some people in the top chat and the others in the all chat. What? All chat oh my goodness. Oh, looks like me in real life. I don't think so. Do you have burns like her? I don't think so. Not that that's a prerequisite or anything. What do you? Insane. Lonely, wrong word for... Oh, I already read that. I realize I've been standing there for too long without answering and pull off a flawless, not too exaggerated smile. You're welcome. Good night, Hanako. Good night. No brown hair, same clothing. My goodness. I leave her to finish her book and head back to the dorms in the promise of food. Okay, that was a good interaction. That was good. I like that. Now take her to the festival, or hang out with her. Honestly, you don't have to go to the festival. Just go anywhere. The next day I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon around already. I'm finally in 6th grade. Nice. Congratulations. She actually does look like her a bit. I went to her channel. Oh, really? I see, I see. So are you on her path now? I think so. We'll officially know at the end of the act. But I think I'm on her path. Not officially. Once you see the video, when they play the video, that's when it's official. The next day I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window I can already see some people at this soba booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider these as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallway, intending to go out and find something to eat. I so read festival as fiesta. I mean, you know, festival, fiesta, kind of the same thing, you know? Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji's up to today out of impulse. No, don't talk to him. I'm curious if he has any plans, since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room. Or possibly something like a fort, complete with no girls allowed sign. And with the girls crossed out and body cruelly scrawled underneath it. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling clicking, at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens up a crack. Who is it? You're supposed to ask that before you open the door. Oh, it's you. Damn, it's early. It's not really that early. What is it, man? Nothing. Was just gonna ask what you're gonna do today. Half the school is out there already. Out where? Why? What? What is today special? Why are there... Who are they? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun? He suddenly looks more alarmed. He's out. Ding dong ditch. Kenji, please. I know, right? What day is it, man? Yeah, I guess you can't see the big wooden booths outside. People selling stuff. What the hell are you talking about? I have curtains closed at all times to throw the snipers. It's the festival. You know that, right? Oh, crap. That's today? Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Dang it. I can't believe I forgot. I don't have any fort finished yet. This is bad. This is going to be a very bad day. It's good you told me this, man. This is going to be a bad day. Why? Oh man, they're going to be everywhere. The people, outside my window, socializing. Kenji rubs his temples nervously, suddenly looking very ill. It's going to be loud as hell. Damn. And I was going to go out today, but now it's ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. This sucks. What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run. Kenji seems nervous. You could even say he's majorly freaking out. I can't believe this. So that's what today was. Damn, I couldn't even prepare for it. I couldn't even brace myself, and now it's here, and I can't do anything. You should have told me this earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but I could have known earlier. Imagine that I would have accomplished. Oh my gosh, this is why I don't like you, Kenji. Sorry, I thought you knew. So I guess you're not going to do anything today. The weather is even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be cold. It's not though. So there's no reason to just stay inside. Yeah, you should check the festival out. Kenji groans and covers his face with his hands. No, I can't do it. They'll eat me alive out there, I know it. I'm starting to understand why he is going to the school. Well, I think the real reason is he's basically blind. He has very bad vision. He's not completely blind, just legally blind. That has to be a joke, but he said it with such a straight face, relatively straight. What are you going to do? We should hang out in here. You can help me build my fort. We might still make it if we work together. I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first and then check out the attractions. Your class project seemed pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it, so I want to see at least that one and chat with Lily, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligations for the project? Are you out of your mind? That blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow that's in the way of my great vision. As expected of blind people, oh my gosh, what? Besides, I thought that you were also... He holds up his hand to interrupt me. Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see further than any man before me has seen. Kenji looks stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just a corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same. I can see the future of mankind, and it's a dark one, unless the threat of women is stifled. They are everywhere. His fingers his scarf nervously faster and faster, like he is trying to start a fire. Then he slowly begins to calm down once the panic attacks finishes running its course. Only legally. I'm going to have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out of myself so that I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. I mean, don't listen to him. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I make a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass as I attentively nibble away at the rather bland-tasting item. I guess I shouldn't complain. It's better than nothing. It didn't cost much. As I look out towards the school, watching the people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing the time as I eat. Little children accompanied by parents or grandparents scamper about in the din from event to event, one hand dragging their company and the other bearing an oversized, colorful snack. Your eyes are also reading as closed when they are not. Are you using a different lighting? No, like it's for some reason my model just does that. It's because my eyes are looking down, because the words are at the bottom of the screen, so I have to look down. Because I always have my head forward. I never lean my neck down or my head down. It's always up. Because I sit when I sit in chairs, I sit with good posture. I never slouch. So that's fine. That's why, because it's like that. High camera angle. Yeah, the camera is at the top of the screen, so I'm looking down at the thing. Sometimes it doesn't do that where it closes my eyes like that, but it still doesn't. I think if I lean back, it won't be so bad. I can't help but notice the age range among the people here is skewed towards the elderly, something that I've also noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those that lived here their whole lives and abruptly refused to leave, and those wanting to live out the rest of their days in one of the increasingly few tranquil places. I guess that also goes away to explaining how conservative Yamaku's school culture seems to be. Hey Varden, hello Kaiju, it's good to see you, It was really fun playing the Outlast Trials yesterday. I was actually thinking about that today, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was so fun. You getting them girls? I'm trying to get Hanako. But I think I'm on the right track. I do think I'm on the right track. Not that I mind one bit. I kind of like how calm Yamaku and its surroundings are. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting now that the hottest part of the day is here. Oh, God. Can't wait to play it again next weekend. That was really fun. Oh, man. And I want to earn my items for my room. Yeah, Hanako is best. I agree. She's the girl I wanted to originally romance. But it turned out that Emmy's, route is super easy to land in. And I accidentally got Emmy's route. Just did it. But also Hanako's route is the most difficult to get, because you got to do like so many different decisions correctly in order to do Hanako. But I got it this time, I think. Damn you, Emmy. Yeah, her route is super easy to get, because all you have to do is make 2 correct decisions. And there you go. You got it. The sound of the Carillion bells takes me completely by surprise as I stand up, a reaction shared by a few other people strolling around as well. Continue with the good posture. Don't lean back if you don't have to. It is possible that you can lower your camera. Try that out. To lower my camera, I would be in the middle of my screen. And I can do a low camera angle, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if it would work out very well. See, easy girls are boring. Always go for the best girls. Yeah, Hanako is definitely best girl. Did I ever read this one? I did. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bells, and its age shows as the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement forward, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternatively pained and forward grimaces of their younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Did you at least subscribe? Oh my goodness, like and subscribe. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic applause, and then get back to business. Also, hello, Kaiju. Oh yes, hello. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glance around for something to do. It's somewhat... Let's see. I just got done with the word. Oh, nice. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all the people around. I decide to fall back on the tried and trusted rule. Go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that's the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate into the trash can, I make my way towards the school board building. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. In deciding which to visit first, I catch sight of a familiar banner, the blue patterned border and red text. Lily's stall is as good a place to start as any. I'm curious as to how it's going, after all the work she and her class had been doing for it. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls, and with equipment for cooking strewn everywhere, it's closer to an outdoor restaurant than a festival event. As a student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exacerbated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere as pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who is probably the teacher of 3-2. It doesn't take long to notice Lily among them, talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears that there has been some problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lily pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter, and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that. We're having a few problems. What would you like? It takes me a second to remember what I'm come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess some miso soup? Let's go chill Sunday. Yeah, chill Sunday. I do like the Sundays are pretty much my chill streams. I like it. I think they'll probably always be like the more chill games I play. That's pretty much the plan, I think. Oh, is that Hisao? Yep, looks like we're pretty busy. Oh, you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress facade. Somewhere along the line, our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portions cover over the problem? It seems like that's what we'll have to do, though I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. I glance behind her to see how many people are actually operating the stall. It couldn't be over about 8. I take it that's why your teacher left. That's right. She's going to try and round up a few more of our classmates to help. Oh yeah, this is Lily. She's also a pretty good option, I think. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glance backward to see an elderly couple taking a place in the line. I guess I'd better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup, oh right, coming right up. Lily turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup as I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her hands, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually satisfied that I've handed over correct change, she puts it into a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks. I'll come back to drop off the bowl. Thank you, Hisao. Oh, there is one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay. I was just wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done, and then... Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako too. Thank you, Hisao. Yes, I gotta find Hanako. I walk off from the stall and find a seat carefully cradling this steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be. Perhaps, but the flavor is enough to cover for the reasonably well. Have you seen Hanako? I must find Hanako. She must be in danger. I must save her. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. They can't really be helped, considering I was dropped into the school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. That and the fact that a few students who don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. It seems the teacher's mission paid off, and there are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they work, Lily still appears to be somewhat stressed. Lily doesn't look impressed at all, and I can't really blame her. On top of her issues with her stall, it still seems to be worried about Hanako. I can't really help her with the former, so I guess the only way I can help is trying to take her mind off our shy mutual friend. Placing the bowl back on the counter, I call out to Lily. Hey Lily, don't worry about Hanako. I'll go find her and hang out with her, okay? I can see Lily's relief plainly written across her face. Thanks, Hisao. And if you see anyone from my class, can you tell them to come back here, please? Will do. Have a good one. And make sure you take a break, okay? I will if I can. See you later, Hisao. Now I must find Hanako. I leave Lily in the stall and head out in search of Hanako. In a way, I feel bad for leaving her with the crowds, but even though she was clearly under pressure, I can't help but think that she is enjoying herself. Hanako, where are you? The halls are packed with swaying crowds meandering throughout the festival. If there's one thing I know about Hanako, it's that she's not going to be anywhere near this. And with the students showing their friends and family their dorms, I doubt she'll be there either. Following blind intuition, I move against the grain of the crowd. Thankfully, this crowd seems to be slightly less festive than usual. Festival crowd, slightly less festive than usual festival crowd. I assume this is out of consideration for the student body. As I force my way through the masses, it doesn't take long for them to thin down into nothingness. This is not surprising, since I am standing before the library. Even the most eager of students don't bother to show anyone this section of the school. As I enter this library, the noise of the festival fades into a dull background noise, and soon I am in the reading area at the rear of the room. Most people find it offensive to ask a blind person, yet blind people understand it's a natural saying. I'm glad the game shows this, even if it was unintentional. I am glad that they did that. They put a lot of thought into this. I think this was made by, honestly, just a bunch of random people on 4chan. And they happened to make a really well thought out game. Behind one of the partitioned desks, I see the top of the head with straight, dark hair catching my eye. Hey, Hanako. I had a feeling I'd find you here. The head jumps a little in shock before slowly peeping over the partition. Hisao. Hey, Lily's pretty busy, so she sent me to find you. Oh, do you want to sit down? Actually, I'm feeling a little hungry. Would you like to get something to eat from one of those stands? I brought some food, so I shouldn't be surprised, but it was worth a try. Expecting her to go outside today was a long shot. How about we eat in the tea room? I passed by it on the way here, and no one was around. We can make some food there, and it'll be a little more comfortable. What do you say? Sure, let's go. Hanako closes her book and puts it away with deliberate, practiced movements. Good to go. Yeah. We walk side by side from the library to the tea room. As expected, there is barely a soul around. If it weren't for the murmurs, though, through the wall, you wouldn't tell that there was a huge festival going on outside. Hanako carries her bag in both hands and focuses on just the floor ahead of her. Every now and again, she seems to break her pace a little and steps in slightly shorter paces. The first time it happened, I gave it no mind, but I soon noticed that she does it on a regular basis. I wonder why she does that. The thing is about Hanako, I know very little about her. Like, I know a lot, like, even with the other girls, I kind of get who they are, you know? Even Emmy, I did her route, so I do get who she is. But, you know, you kind of get the gist about who they are. Hanako's the one that's really hard to pin down. You know? Mm-mm-mm. And it's more than just like, oh, she's shy. I feel like there's a lot more going on. Are you alright? She stops dead in her tracks. What? I don't know, it looked like you were tripping or something. A pink blush rises in her cheeks as her gaze returns to the floor. It's nothing. You know, when you say it's nothing like that, people are inspired to ask further questions. For a second, I don't think she is going to answer. Prepare to leave it be. I almost set off walking again when... It's a game. Oh, nice. Oh. Sometimes it takes the random people in the world to make an amazing game. Oh, that was a really cute response. Game. Do you see the floor here? What a bizarre question. The floor looks just like any other floor, covered in those tiles made up from squares and... Oh, I've played this game when I was a kid. And linoleum. Nothing noteworthy. It's the lines. Well, yes, what about it? Sometimes, when there's no one around, I only step on the darker ones. Oh, this game, it's either the step in the squares or only step on one color. Yeah, it's basically the same kind of game. Hanako's voice trails off as her explanation continues, until I can barely hear her voice over the roaring silence of the empty hall. Could it be her going on from 0 to 100 and back again over a few seconds? Hody. Darker ones? Shuffling her feet, Hanako points the toe of her shoe at the tile that is barely a shade darker than the others. Like these ones. Oh right, so these ones are no good. I point out a nearby tile. Yeah, it's something like that. I do the step in one color game with my school till... Oh my goodness. Your school tiles, I'm assuming you're saying. Oh, I see. Do you play the game a lot? Hanako shakes her head. Just when the halls are empty. She nods. Well then, no point in stopping. I'm beginning to get really hungry. She nods again, this time with a little more enthusiasm. Well then, let's go. You know, it'd be really cool if I can join in on the game. We sit off down the hall, and this time I notice that Hanako is paying a little less attention to the floor. I wonder, just how lonely does someone have to come up with a game like that? Oh, come on, Hanako. Or not Hanako, I'm sorry, Hisao. Come on. Don't be that way. I mean, sure, she's lonely, but come on, just play the darn game. But before I realize what I'm doing, I find myself trying to aim each step so it lands on the current tiles. There you go. There you go, Hisao. The noise of the festival is slightly louder inside the tea room, but the breeze coming through the open window makes it worth it. You don't need to be lonely to play the game. Without thinking, I walk to the windowsill and inhale deeply. I sometimes forget how clean the air is here compared to the back room. Would you like some tea? That would be great, thanks. It occurs to me that this is the first time I've been alone with Hanako, without her trying to be somewhere else. Turning from the window, I watch as she makes a simple pot of tea and arranges some sandwiches onto a plate. I've seen her do this before a number of times, but this time she seems slightly different. It's like she's calm. Eventually she places the small tray on the table and pours 2 cups of tea. The fresh scent of brewed tea mingles with the breeze. For a second I feel like I'm the only one in the world. I think I know why you like this room now. I don't know what you mean. Well, there are quite a few people out there, but in here it's like another world. You can pretend that there's no one around for miles. Yeah, you're right. It's like the world has forgotten this room. And because of that, you can forget about the outside. That would be appealing in some cases. As far as I can tell, conventionally, bullying doesn't exist in the school. But then again, I haven't seen a single person talk to Hisao besides Lily. If you're ignored by the world, a place where you can forget the existence would hold a special appeal. Now, depending on what version of the game you're playing, you may need to be alone. Mine is step on the red tile, which requires me to run and jump on the hallway. It's gotta be clear for me to play. Yeah, and sometimes there's no different colors, so you just gotta play like just going into the don't step on the cracks kind of thing. I think that's the one I did the most because we didn't have different colors. Not really. That's a good point. It's like the room gives you some kind of complete freedom. Yeah. Say, do you play chess? I'm terrible at it. Chess, I've played it a bit, I guess. I take it you've played before? A little. Without saying anything more, Hanako moves to one of the cupboards and digs out a small chess set. Do you want? Sure, why not? I cut her off, but she doesn't seem to mind it. We arrange the pieces. Before long, we are sending pawns charging to their inevitable fates. I take my time, intently examine each move and its consequences, nostalgia for the game taking second place to the matters at hand. For a time, the game is a lengthy battle of attrition, but I spot an opening and tear a line into her defense. A few moves later, her king is cornered by several of my pieces. Checkmate. You're not bad at this, are you? An honest appraisal, her technique is pretty good, but several times I was able to exploit her lack of prediction. Yeah, that's what I'm terrible at, is predicting. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can. I pick up a piece and examine it, and it looks relatively new, yet worn for its ages. Or sometimes I won't see that there's a piece that will take my piece if I put it there. I've made that mistake so many times. I guess not. Does Lily play? The absence of Hanako's answer caused me to think about my question. A bit. This is the first time I've played against someone other than her, or... You know, Varden, it takes skill to play any game to lose while making your opponents feel like they are winning. Oh my goodness. Let's see. It does take some skill to do that. Well, I mean, technically there was one of those games I won because the time ran out on their side. Hori. My school only has that on the second floor. I'm on the first floor all day. It has 10-foot tile pieces. How? I don't know. It must be really big. Wait, on the second floor? Usually you'll find those on the first floor. Because unless they're just, they're thin. Unless they're thin tiles. Like the thin lamp, like, kind of fake kind of tiles. Then that makes sense. This is the first time I played against someone other than her or... Oh, it's gonna be some family member that died in the fire. She cuts herself off abruptly, leaving the answer hanging in the air. Someone she knew before coming to Yamaku, maybe. Well then, I'm honored to have played against you. Can we play again? She asks as if she were asking me to cut off my own hands. The spirit of competition's gotten into her. Sure, though don't expect me to go easy on you this time. Not that I was before, mind. She seems to appreciate the competitive tone. So, same here. As we are setting up the pieces, there is a noise at the door. Oh, it's Lily. Good afternoon. Lily. Oh, hey there, Lily. Are you finished? You both are here. Wonderful. At any rate, our teacher managed to round up some extra help, so I was able to leave. Have you been here since you left? Pretty much. We've just been playing a bit of chess. Would you like a cup of tea? Actually, I think it may be a good idea to go outside for a little while. The instant drop in Hanako's face shows her objection to the plan. even though she says nothing. I feel strangely compelled to voice what is plainly in view of her face, but Lily can't see. I kind of think that we should just stay here. Really? It's so crowded here that I was thinking we should leave the school, head for the local tea house. You mean the Shanghai? Of course, with everyone at the festival, it should be practically empty. Tea house? Oh, that's right. You probably don't know of it. There is a tea house not far from here, which we go to every so often. Sounds like a plan. Hanako, what do you think? Hanako jumps a little at being forced into the conversation, but at least she seems less distraught than before. Yep, flips the floor around. I am retail, leather backwards. Today, nice. Let's see. If it's the Shanghai, I think it'd be nice. Well then, it's settled. Let's be on our way. Hanako and I raise from the table in our preempted chess game. Before I can go anywhere and do anything, Hanako has poured the pieces into a small container and placed the board away. Looks like we're ready now. Please lead on. Hanako moves to Lily's side, and we venture onto the school's corridors. The pair leads me through a series of unfamiliar doors, and we emerge on the side of the building opposite of the festival grounds. Insulated by the heavy stone of the building, the noise from the crowd has faded to a murmur. Strange. I thought that most people would be beginning to leave by now. They're probably here to view the fireworks. Fireworks? Yes, apparently the school puts quite a show. A lot of people come from town just to watch them. Lily's decision to leave the school grounds seems to make sense now. Hanako would probably have a hard time with the whole town descending onto the school, or ascending as the case may be. For the second time since arriving at Yamaku, I find myself walking down the road with Lily. Only now that I can barely hear the incessant noise of the festival do I realize how loud it was. I can hear my ears ringing slightly in the still evening air as they recover from the day's assault on them. Hanako clings to Lily, but still manages to guide her along the road, that in avoiding the occasional gaze from curious pedestrians appears to completely sap her constitution. She rarely raises her focus from the ground in front of her, nor does she utter a word. Lily, on the other hand, maintains her prim and proper persona, just as she does in school. It's obvious she purposely puts effort into her appearance, rather than hiding it as Hanako does. It's striking how different they are in their way of holding themselves outside of Yamaku's grounds. That said, it's obvious in both their cases that they do visibly change. Inside Yamaku, everyone is special, which negates the specialness of it. But once we venture outside the school gates, we are returned to the status of outsider and generic labels. Also chess. I'm decent at everything else, but my patience, I'm too impulsive. Heck, I even coached someone as they played chess on a random Friday afternoon. Yeah, I don't know why I'm bad. I just think I just don't see things. Like there'd be like a move that I just don't see, and then that destroys me. It might be due to my impatience, you know. Especially when we are still in school uniform. It's like hanging a sign around your neck, challenging people to figure out what is wrong with you. I'm surprised that so many of the students keep it on. Then again, with canes and wheelchairs common among the students, I guess it's not really that much of a giveaway. Or maybe I'm the only one that sees this as a stigma. Maybe you get used to it after a time, like any other school uniform. The tea house seems fairly standard from the outside, just an ordinary building with typical signs decorating the entrance. It looks like the type of place you'd walk by without a thought, just another generic cafe in a sea of thousands. If Hanako hasn't steered Lily into the entrance, I would have continued on down the road without her knowing that it existed. Inside the tea house, it takes on a more traditional feel. Everything seems to have made from the same lump of timber, from the counter and benches to the high-backed booths around the walls. But the most striking feature of the room is the lack of life. I think I can faintly hear something bubbling away in the background, but otherwise the room is silent. That may be it. It could also be that you're only zoning in on your pieces. That's probably true too. That's probably true. Without any direction, we simply wait near the entrance, politely obeying the please wait to be seated sign. Is this place closed or something? The sound of a chair falling over echoes throughout the empty room, and a head shoots up from inside a booth. I wasn't asleep. Welcome to Shanghai. Yuko, dressed in a pastel apron and clutching a menu, rushes to greet us. Her misaligned glasses and ruffled hair cast suspicion on her previous statement. But whether she was asleep or not isn't the first question that leaps to my mind. You work here now. What happened to the library? What? Lily? He's out? Welcome to Shanghai. Yuko, still waking up, jerks to a violent bow, dislodging her glasses in the process. My glasses. As I pick up her spectacles off the floor, Lily offers an explanation. Yuko works here part-time, as well as the library. It's one of the reasons we like to come here. Yuko takes her glasses from my hands and shakily putting them back on. Yes, that's right, thanks. Shall I show you to your table? There's no one else here, so you can choose your table and order whatever you like. But there may be a delay as I will have to make it myself. It's alright, Yuko. Just a pot of black tea and a plate of sandwiches will be fine. Right, I'll get right on that. Yuko hurries off to the back of the cafe, leaving us still standing at the entrance. She pushes and swinging half doors open before realizing that she hasn't seated us. I'm sorry. Please, sit wherever you like. I'll be right back. Following her advice, I lead Lily to the nearest booth as Hanako follows. As I begin to sit next to Lily, I realize how appropriate this place is for Hanako. The high-backed booths totally separate you from the rest of the room, and it doesn't look like it gets all that many customers. All of the furnishings, from the cushions on the benches to the condiment holders, look dated, but aren't overly worn. I wonder if Lily deliberately selects places like this to take Hanako. She seems like the type that would go to lengths to cater to Hanako's unique predicament. So Hisao, I didn't know you played chess. Well, not very well, but I do know how to play. I suppose the obvious question would now be, who won? Lily's innocent smile makes me hesitant. I don't really want to look like I'm lording my victory over Hanako. Hisao did. Yes, but not by much. Damn, saying that out loud makes me feel like I've done something terrible. Well done, Hisao. You've accomplished something I've only ever failed at. Her thanks. I haven't played in ages, so it felt good to play again. Yes, it did. Hanako fidgets with her hair a little and looks away as she replies, but a small smile emerges. It's a little more extreme of a reaction than I expected, but still kind of cute in that Hanako way. It throws me a little off guard, and only Yuko's cataclysmic re-entry shocks me back into the conversation. Are you all right there, Yuko? Do you need a hand? I'm fine. I have to do this properly. It's my job. Concentration plays across her face, while stares at the tray in her hand, as if simply looking at its contents will hold them in place. Sadly, this doesn't prove all that effective. The cups and saucers slowly dance around, occasionally clattering as they collide with one another. Taking great care, Yuko sets the tray down on the table with only the subtlest of crashes. There, see? Oh, well done. Thank you, Yuko. Yuko's head rockets downward in her distinctive bow before answering. You're very welcome. Would you like to join us? There's something else I'd like to discuss about the recent order, if I may. And that's right. Lily and Yuko were discussing a pile of books when I first met Hanako. Something about Lily's helping with the braille. Yes, we didn't get the chance to go through them, did we? Yuko hastily sits down to Hanako. Apparently her dedication to this job only goes as far as her concentration. Once it is broken, she suddenly loses it. I'll be in the library tomorrow afternoon, if you'd like to try again. That sounds perfect. I'll meet you there after school. After classes. Lily? Oh dear, that's right. Tomorrow is Monday. How could I have forgotten? I'm starting to feel a little left out of the loop here. Then again, that'd be expected. I have been here for barely a week, so it's impossible to know everyone's schedule. Well, perhaps we could come to some other arrangement. Yuko, will you be in the library later in the week? Maybe, but this is already overdue. And there are some things I need. This might be a problem. Lily ponders for a second before discovering the answer. I wonder, might we be able to enlist the help of another, if need be? To do what? You lost me quite some time ago. Being volunteered for something without even having the slightest idea what is going on isn't really my thing. And here I thought I had finally escaped the clutches of the student council and their repeated attempts to recruit me. Oh, of course. The other day I was helping Yuko sort the new Braille books in the library. But Hanako and I usually go shopping on Monday afternoons. It's quieter on that day than on weekends. Last week we couldn't go because I was busy with the festival. I managed to slip away later in the week, but Hanako couldn't make it. Well, since I can't read Braille, I'm assuming you'd like me to go shopping with Hanako. Correct. You were a great help to me the other day. I think I can handle that. Hanako, what do you think? If you wouldn't mind. Of course not. I'm still not familiar with all the stores in the area, so it sounds like a good idea. Oh, okay. Now that we have that arranged, shall we have some tea? It's now that I realize our tea has been sitting idly by all this time, getting no hotter. It's my fault. Let me pour that for you. Yuko reaches out with shaking hands, but I intercept her. She looks in no state to be handling hot liquid. It's alright, I've got this. Since you've already made the tea and sandwiches, you fulfilled your waitress duties, right? I guess. Yuko relaxes a little, but still watches eagerly as I share out the assortment. As I am about to bite to the sandwich, a low, loud rumble can be heard along with a flash of light from outside. Now I want some tea. I don't know, I've never been a tea guy. I don't mind tea though, but never been a tea guy. Oh, I take it the show has started. Only now looking outside, I realize that dusk has come and gone, leaving us in the peak of twilight. Sparking tracers arc upwards, ready to explode in the floral shapes of fireworks. Let's go watch. Oh, sorry, Lily. Please, don't miss the show on my account. From what I've heard, this isn't a bad location to watch them from. The timing is perfect. Sounds like you need to get checked on by the wing girl before any relationship can move forward. Oh, look at Hanako. With the exception of Lily, we rush to the window of the small tea house to watch the show. The strobe of colored lights plays across Hanako and Yuko's smiling faces and for a second I forget to look out the window. In this totally new world, there are few things that don't change. I think that's why the school makes me such a fuss over the festival. It's a shame, it's a chance to show the similarities between everyone. The show is over all too quickly. Fireworks are expensive even for the most well-funded schools. Before we return to our tea and sandwiches, Hanako turns to me. Thanks for today. No problem. And tomorrow. That's okay. I don't think that I could have faced those crowds either. On days like this, it's more relaxing to spend some time away from everyone, don't you think? Yeah. Anyway, we've been delaying this tea for far too long now. Let's get back. Sure. We returned to the booth and our light meal. That sounded impressive. Bigger than last year's, at least. Yeah, it was great. I've never seen them put on such a show. It gets better every year. I'm afraid, however, that during that time, the tea has gone cold. No. Oh no. Let me make some more. This is my fault. Calm down, Yuko. It's nobody's fault. I take a sip from my cup, just to prove the point. This tea isn't too bad cool anyway. It's like iced tea. Really? Yes, really. If you add a bit of sugar, it's kind of nice. Are you sure? I'm positive. Now, why don't you sit down and we'll finish this together? Okay. Yuko doesn't seem convinced, but sits down regardless. She carefully measures out 5 teaspoons of sugar and adds them to her tea. I said a bit of sugar. I know, but I like my tea sweet anyway. Curiously, I peer into her cup. As expected, hardly any of the sugar dissolves in that cold liquid. She stirs it twice before upturning the cup and drinking the contents, sugar and all, in a single mouthful. You're right. That's not bad at all. Good. I look back to Lily and Hanako. Both of whom have finished their meal as I witnessed Yuko's personality in action. Not wanting to hold anyone up, I use her tactic and finish the remainder of my tea in a single swill. Well then, it seems we're all finished. Should we head back now, or do we want seconds? Yuko's expression shows that this is quite clearly not a good idea. I think that it would be best if we got back soon. We do have to get back before curfew after all. Except trying to keep Yuko from over-stressing herself is sweet. Yeah, that's the one thing Hisao does really well. Is he does try to make sure she doesn't just burst into a mess. Oh, that is a good point. I'll meet you tomorrow, Yuko. I'll be looking forward to it, Lily. Goodbye, everyone. We make our way out of the small tea house and into the dark of night. Lily and Hanako once again take point, but under the cover of darkness, Hanako seems slightly less stressed than she did on the trip here. We move against the occasional group of people, emptying the school grounds, but Hanako seems to lead us along a few minor roads, avoiding the bulk of the crowd. Outside the dorms, the school seems strangely quiet when compared to the noise of the day. Well then, thank you both for today. I think I learned a lot. You're most welcome, but I'm afraid that I really must be going. Today's been a long day. That's right. Lily spent all of today on her feet, and I can imagine that walking outside of the school would be pretty tiring for her. I feel a pang of guilt as I remember that I was probably the only one in the school that got up around 10 this morning. Sure thing. Well, I'll see you both tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Hisao. Night. The girls return to their dorm, and I to mine. Actually, now that I consider it, today tired me out as well. I got the video. It's Hanako. You got auto-modded. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at Hanako. Oh. Hide and seek. I hope I get the good ending. My goodness. Finished Hanako Act 1. Nice. We have... Let's go ahead and save. We have unlocked Hanako's route, finally. You got auto-bonded. How did you get auto-modded? See. I don't understand. I mean, you're also a mod, so that's weird. Unless you said something very bad. Man, kids today, in grades 1 to 6, I had to be there at 6 a.m. for 7 to 12. It was 7 a.m. None of that 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. stuff. I don't, shoot, how recent was that? Because I went to school fairly early, too. Because I had to wake up at 6. I had to get to the bus around 7. And then I think the school officially started at 8. Something like that. Wasn't that bad? Oh, I see, I see. Well, the auto mod thinks it was terrible. My alarm blares into my ears, only to be swiftly silenced by my fist. My body switches into auto mode, carrying my subconscious self out of the bed into my uniform. As always, my bottles of pills sit on my desk patiently, waiting for me to take them and pick out my daily dosage of medicine. 17 pills a day. Jeez. Before I know it, I'm opening the door to class 3-3, glad to see that I'm not the only one who seems to be a little hungover from festival week. Every face in the classroom looks gaunt, with the festival now over. It's as if everyone's life and dreams have been achieved. With nothing left to live for, the students have relied on instincts alone to guide them to class. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I slowly make my way to my seat, and it's only then that I realize why the room is so peaceful. The seats beside mine are blissfully empty. The world's loudest interpreter for the deaf has yet to arrive. Just as I am about to sit down, the door flies open, revealing a resplendent Misha, drills bobbing from the dramatic entrance and arms stretched towards the sky. Yahoo, it's all over. It would appear that not everyone is affected by the post-festival depression. The rest of the class glare at her, obviously thinking the same thing I am. Misha's still frozen in the doorway, with her arms still in the air, nervously looks around. It's obvious that she senses the foul mood, but can't work out exactly what to do. Suddenly, she jerks forward. Hey. As she stumbles into the classroom, she reveals Shizune, arms still extended from where she shoved Misha. Thanks for the entertainment, but shouldn't you two take your seats? Still slightly embarrassed, Misha takes a few seconds to realize she has to translate. Oh, yeah, Shi-chan says she's not happy with you ditching us last week. We were really busy. Is that so? What about the stuff I already did for you two? She says that only counts for council members. Since you declined, she doesn't owe you anything. Misha leans closer and whispers conspiratorially into my ear. Actually, I think she's just a little sore that you didn't spend the day with her. Aww. She's really thankful for your work last week, though. Sensing that she is being talked about, Fusade lightly wraps her fingers on her desk until Misha turns around to face her. I can't understand any of the fast-paced signing that's going on, but from Shizune's slightly embarrassed expression and Misha's poorly contained laughter, I can guess. While the exchange is happening, the door opens once again, but this time as much more reasonable pace. Hanako. Hanako quietly enters the room and pulls the door closed behind her. Peering out from under her hair, she quickly scans the classroom. Our eyes meet, and she suddenly stiffens. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and then walks over to my desk. Good morning, Hiso. Morning, Hanako. You're a little late, aren't you? I was talking to Lily. About today. Oh, so you've got her list then. We can leave straight after classes in that case. Hello, RC. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Hello. Sure. I'm looking forward to it. Hanako briefly flashes her embarrassed smile at me, then hurries off to her seat. Oh my goodness, my chat disconnected again. Keeps doing that. What's going on? I don't know, it might be YouTube. It might be purely YouTube. Yeah, when my kids went to school, it was 8:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. In high school, as a requested a free period for the first period. Hope you're having a great time. I'm having a good time. I finally unlocked Hanako's route, and I'm very excited because Hanako's the one I truly wanted to romance. I was just saying, if Yuko overstresses herself, she will literally pass out at random because her body and mind says, I can't take this anymore, and shuts down. She does seem like that kind of person. During classes, it becomes apparent that it's not only the students that are a little despondent after the festival. Mutao simply gives us a list of exercises from the textbook, then sits behind his desk. I totally forgot about the brief lunch period for a moment. Such is the banality of the day. It's mind-numbing, and everyone seems surprised when the bells signal the end of the lessons. As I am packing up my bags, Shizune and Misha flank in and trap me. Say, Hishan, it's still not too late to join up. There's a lot of post-festival paperwork for us to complete. Sorry, Misha, I've got plans. As if sensing the cue, Hanako appears behind me, holding a small bag, and trying to avoid eye contact with the outside world. Misha's eyes open wide, then she bursts into laughter. You move fast, don't you, Hichan? We won't disturb your date any further. Behind the roaring Misha, I see Shizune taking far too little interest in the scene. I might be taking this the wrong way, but I think she's deliberately ignoring me. I feel a gentle tug on my shirt and turn to see Hishao's eyes fixed firmly on the floor. Well, let's... God, yeah. Shizune, Misha, I see you later. And I'm still not interested in the council. Spoiled sport. Misha and Shizune retreat to the hallway, happily signing to each other. Got all your stuff? Let's head off. Yeah, I'm getting to hang out with Hanako. Floods of students pour out of the school gates and onto the road into town. It's a little weird. It's almost a scene from any other high school, but the illusion fades between the occasional wheelchair or missing limb. One thing I do notice is that nobody's alone. And as Hanako and I pass through the gates, I notice that she closes the distance between us. Not enough to be considered close, but she certainly isn't at her usual, just a little far position. I guess we're not familiar enough for her to get as close as she does with Lily. However, even though she has moved a little closer to me physically, mentally she seems to have traveled a mile. Her hands clutched around the leather straps of her bag to the point of whitening her knuckles, her head down, and her mouth pursed closed. She almost looks like she's being walked to the principal's office for the first time. See, how do I know? Same thing happened to me. Came home one day and opened my bedroom door, just fell forward. Woke up an hour later with my dog whining and licking my face. Aw, I'm sad. I'm sorry to hear that. I try to stifle a giggle at the thought, but it is futile. Well, what's the matter? I guess there's no point in hiding it. Sorry, for a second there, it looked like you were getting in trouble. What do you mean? I think you need to relax a little. We're not going too far. It's only students around you, right? Right. It bothers me a little to see Hanako so worked up. And you do this every week, don't you? Yes, with Lily. Of course, with Lily. I wonder, has she ever left the school without her? It doesn't seem like much at first glance, but Hanako's dependence on Lily is absurdly heavy. If she can't even handle leaving the school without her, how would she have managed to survive if the two had never met? Would she have found someone else to latch onto? And what drew her to Lily? I mean, I am better now. I ain't overstressing myself anymore. Not after that. That's good. That's good to hear. Let's see. Was it her lack of eyesight, or was Lily just kind enough to lend a hand? I wonder if anyone would have fit the bill. Well, I'm here. Besides, we're not going far. It'll be over before you know it. Hanako's knuckles slowly regain their color as she tries to hide a small smile, but the effort of that seems to prevent further conversation. We travel side by side down the winding road towards the town. The crowd of students thins as we continue along the sidewalk. Faster, students rush ahead, and the less mobile ones fall behind, rarefying the crowd into nothingness. By the time we reach the convenience store, we are practically alone. Using me as a shield between herself and the attendant, Hanako moves through the narrow aisles, adding an assortment of items to her basket. Bread, milk, tea, fine. What kind of convenience store sells herbs? I mean, you probably could find it in a convenience store. Like those little herb packets. You probably could. Then again, nothing about this town seems normal, which may not be such a bad thing in retrospect. Everything is so different and uncomfortable. Dwelling on such matters isn't really an option. When I think about it, it reminds me of Hanako. No matter how much you try, you can't escape her scars. They still interrupt my train of thought when I see them. As much as I don't want to admit it to myself, I think I'm forcing myself to try to ignore them. Not that I am scar-free myself. The jagged line down my sternum will never completely fade away. I just have the luxury of being able to hide it easily. But in a way, both our scars remind me that we're all in this place for a reason. Hanako throws one last item into her basket, then sheepishly holds it out to me, along with a few banknotes. Could you please? It takes me a second to understand what she's trying to say. Oh, you want me to pay for this? She nods, but doesn't look up. I guess this task falls to Lily on the usual occasions. Sure, let me just grab a couple of things. Hastily, I grab a few essential items for myself and head for the counter with Hanako in close tow. The attendant gives me an indifferent nod as he scans the items. I suppose just ignoring us is one way to deal with the anomalies of Yamaku. They must get a lot of students here, being the closest store in the school to the school. The staff must all have their own way of dealing with us, or maybe they don't. Maybe it's only me who thinks twice about my unique schoolmates. Also, kids go to school at 9 or 10 now. I still gotta go there at 8 if not 7:30. It might be a state-by-state thing, you know? I'm thinking, or a county. It might be a county-by-county thing, not even state. Because I remember they were talking about that a long time ago, about prolonging it, like or moving it an hour over. So instead of starting at 8, it would start at 9. I remember that. But he will also stay there longer as well. Our transaction complete, Hanako and I head back onto the street. The road is pretty much abandoned now. The students that were heading out have already left, and nobody has started returning just yet. And with only the school ahead of the road, there doesn't seem to be anyone else around. The emptiness certainly reflects on Hanako, her arms by her sides, each carrying a bag, her head no longer bowed, and her back to the upright position. It's almost as if she were enjoying this walk. So why all these weird things and mixed spice? Why would you need that in school? I sometimes like to make food. Well, yeah, so do I, but spices? That's a little more advanced, don't you think? No, not really. Well, I think it's cool. You'll have to teach me one day. Sure. She doesn't seem all that sure, but pushing the point doesn't seem all that wise. At the very least, she seems a great deal happier than she did on the walk down here. That alone makes me a little happier. Outside the girls' dorm, Hanako and I sort out the grocery bags with our respective purchases. In comparison, my things look positively plain. I tell you, you're putting me to shame here. No, I'm not. I'm only joking. I have a stack of homework that I skipped last week, so I must leave now. Will you be alright getting that to your room? Yeah. Sure, okay then. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. We part ways, and I return to my room. Piles of papers sit upon my desk, begging to be completed. With the entire ruckus of the last week, I barely had any time to catch up. I tried to keep up with my studies while I was in the hospital, but some of this stuff I've never seen before, even back in my old school. Totally unprepared, I pop the top on a can of a drink and get to work. Woody. Gosh, I'm kind of, in a way, I'm dreading the choices because I'm going to be second guessing myself so much. I'll be like, wait, is that the right choice? Is that the right choice? I'm going to be second guessing so much because I want the good ending with Hanako. Oh, bro, I hate to be there from 9:30 to 10 to 7. Oh my gosh. You know, my school, you know, they had clubs, but they rarely had clubs that actually like stayed behind, you know. I don't think very many people actually did clubs. The days are really starting to heat up. This morning, I awoke covered in sweat. By the time the student body starts leaving their dorms for the breakfast and morning duties, the sun has taken full effect. Oddly, that puts me in high spirits. It's not very even 8, yet I feel that this day is going to be one of those pleasant, tranquil, warm ones. If I weren't at the school that considered every absence from class as a sign of a life-threatening situation, I'd consider skipping the whole day and just relaxing in the school gardens. Yes, today will be a genuinely lazy day. My club is outside of the school because it's esports. Ooh, esports. Very nice. Yeah, we didn't have that when I was going to school. Mainly because games weren't exactly, you know, that popular back then. At least not esport related. I mean, there were like the early days of esports. Like, you know, they're more like small events and things like that. Like especially Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike had a lot of esports stuff. They didn't call it esports then. They just called them competitions. There was a bit of that. There was fighting game competitions. Yeah, but they're more smaller scale. Like you just had like hear about them, like word of mouth kind of thing. For a second, I stop in mid-stretch and consider the nurse's warning about exercise. Maybe I should have kept up those morning jogs. Running with someone like Emmy might have been a little testing, but But if I worked at my own pace, who am I kidding? I couldn't stick to something like that without some kind of motivation. It's not like I sit around all day. The walk to and from the convenience store counts as exercise, right? Especially the walk back up the hill. I'm gonna get another heart attack, aren't I? Yeah, it's no big deal. Compared to the months lying in the hospital bed, I'm getting plenty exercise. I'm so gonna get a heart attack. I mean, the reason I didn't get a heart attack last time is because I was running all the time. Oh man. It seems that I'm not alone in my appreciation of the day. Nearly every member of the class is glancing through the window and into the tantalizing sky. Even the steadfast Shizune seems to lack her usual vigor for schoolwork. Misha, as brazen as ever, has even unbuttoned the top buttons of her shirt and is fanning herself with a notebook. I must have been staring as she's now sticking her tongue out at me. However, she shows no sign of halting her efforts, nor is she trying to hide the fact. The lunch bells seem to catch everyone by surprise, and the class empties at a much slower pace than usual. The heat seems to be draining the need to rush from everyone. Well, almost everyone. Hisao? Hey there, Hanako. What can I do for you today? Hanako already has a lunch bag in hand. I don't have to be a detective to work out where this is going. Would you like to have lunch with us again? I brought enough for everyone. Awesome. You don't have to be so stiff about it, though. All right. I take it you're going to the tea room? But please? Lily said she'll meet us in there. So we should go ahead together. Nice. See, why do I sign up for esports? I try to be in chess and it closed due to lack of members. I was the only one to join. So I joined SSBU, assuming it was like Brawlhalla. Oh, was I sadly mistaken? Oh. Sad. Oh, was that Super Smash Brothers? Oh, I like Super Smash Brothers though. Being a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I mean, it's still fun. I mean, you just get to play games a lot, you know. It is fun. I think it's a terrible competition game though, to be honest. Because it's, because of the items and things like that. And also there's I don't know. I don't think it's a good competition game. Should go ahead together. Sounds like a plan. This heat has made me pretty hungry. Hanako breathes a sigh of relief, and I gather my things together. As usual, the aura of the tea room is refreshing, feeling isolated from the rest of the world. Then again, the usual din of the school seems to be a bit subdued, most likely from laziness promoted by heat exhaustion. Hanako slowly spreads her food on the table, intently focusing on every little movement as if trying to keep her mind off at other thoughts. Oh no, the comp rules ban the items to make it tax and specials. That's good. It's not much, but I can tell from her demeanor that she has prepared everything with the utmost care. Hey Varden, hey Leather, hello Flash. It's good to see you. I have unlocked Hanako's path. So now I'm finally, I guess, hanging out with Hanako. I don't think we're officially a thing yet, though. I guess Lily isn't here yet. Should we start without her? She'll be here soon. Hanako struggles with the lid of the container of rice. Here, let me help with that. I take the container from Hanako's hands and try to force open the lid. Nice, Hanako's route is open. Try as I might, it seems wedged shut. Let me guess, did you put this in a while the rice was still hot? Yes, I was in a rush. I put the container on the table between us. I thought so. Looks like this is a wedge shut. We'll need some hot water to get it open. But that could be a pain in here. We'd get water everywhere. We'd get... Well, in that case, how about I contribute to today's meal. Which I love, only attacks and specials. I just wasn't able to master all the controls in time for the official tournament against the 8th place team, to say the least. My goodness, my goodness. At the door, Lily smiles, holding up a bag stocked with various buns and bread rolls. I can't help but do the same. Since you two had a change of plans because of me, I thought I would bring a little something. Thanks, Lily. Here, let me get that for you. With a little guidance, Lily's bread assortments joins Hanako's riceless platter. I hastily make some tea to complete the picture. Well, I'm looking forward to this. As I take a bite, I notice Hanako trying her hardest to not look like she is looking at me. It's nothing special, but then again, I can't really complain. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to cooking for myself. Not bad. I guess this is made with the stuff you brought yesterday. Yes. Hanako's eyes shout at me, begging for some kind of feedback. Well, it was clearly worth it. Thanks, Hanako. I wanted to show you this after yesterday. It's okay. I was just a little surprised at this stuff you were buying. Hanako's always liked to experiment when it comes to food. I think it's good most of the time. While Lily's smile doesn't waver, the slight change in her tone tells me that things have not gone so well in the past. And it's not like Hanako has many people to sample her cooking. Hang on, was Lily waiting for me to go first? She didn't start eating until after I said it was all right. Her cheeky grin tells me that this was a deliberate action on her part. I'll have to try and work out how to get one over her in the future to make up for this. Well, it's good, and that's all that counts, right? The first team my team fought against was the 8th place winner of last year. Ours was 28th with the old team. Don't know where they went, assuming they graduated, because my team was a fresh batch according to coach. I see. And you guys got first place. Nice. I'm sure you guys did your best. Right. Lily, satisfied at not being the first to sample Hanako's creation, begins to consume the food in front of her. I find myself staring as I watch her chopsticks gently through the plate, their tips delicately poking and tracing to quickly ascertain the positions of the food as she dexterously picks it up. One might think she were a child playing with her food, if not for the situation, though she does it with such care and thoughtlessness that it's obvious this is simply how she eats this kind of meal. Not wanting to miss out, I start filling up myself. Hanako takes a different approach, waiting until Lily and I have our hands clear, before quickly snatching up her share. Before long, containers are empty, save for the still shut rice container. No, we didn't. We lost. Unfortunately, the second best player got taken out by his family against the contract. Oh, darn. Thank you, Hanako. That was filling. No, thank you for the bread. Yes, it would have been a disaster if not for that. You're both welcome. But now, I must be getting back. It's far too easy to be late after eating here. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think we'll just clean up here and then head off. Well then, good day. Lily leaves her cane tapping away down the quiet hallway. Hanako and I quickly pack our things and stay seated, waiting for the bell. Together we stare out the window and into the endless azure sky. If it weren't for the pealing of the bells, I would have sworn that time had stopped. The urge to skip class rises in my gut. I shoot a glance at Hanako, who shows no signs of moving either. Not just yet. The interval between the warning bells and the end of lunch bells passes in the blink of an eye. We really should go. People will freak out and start a search party if we skip. Hanako sighs. You're right. Slowly, she rises to her feet, and I follow suit. Silently, we make our way up the old stairs to the 3rd floor, and then our classroom. At the door, I take point and open the door ahead of Hanako, bowing my head down in apology in advance. It's fine, there's always next year. If I set up my own failure. My goodness. I'm sorry, we're late, teacher. I'm greeted by the stern words, nor by an angered instruction to take my seat, but simply by the silence created by 15 or so students trying not to laugh. I am in position where I could repeat my 12th year. Oh my goodness, don't do that. I mean, it's alright if you do. It's not that big of a deal, to be honest. It only feels like a big deal. Mutao, ever tardy, has yet to arrive. However, the fact that Hanako and I have arrived together is blatantly obvious. Piff. Make that about 14 students trying and 1 student failing. Piff. The lovers return. Yeah, thanks. You can calm down now. I step through the door and realize that Hanako is firmly pressed against my back, hiding herself from the class. With my steps coming closer to my desk, she eventually breaks from me and stiffly walks to her own. Her efforts to mentally block everyone's presence from her mind are written fairly clearly on her face. Quickly checking the door for any signs of the teacher's arrival, I make a trip to the Hanako's desk and whisper in her ear. Don't worry about Misha. She's always like this. I enjoyed myself today. Don't sweat it, okay? Hanako nods her head behind her folded arms, but still doesn't show her face. I yearn to stay and console her more, but Mutao picks the exact moment to enter the class, halfway through his lecture, as if he started it in the hallway. Which, of course, is directly proportional to the charge, but inversely proportionally to the square of the distance. He's so engrossed in his speech that he doesn't even notice me sneaking back into my seat from Hanako's desk. While Mutao's spiel rambles on, Misha leans over to me. The teacher may not have noticed your tardiness, but I did. That much is obvious from the show you just put on. I've been instructed to let you off the hook for today, but only on one condition. Oh, and what would that be? You have to help us this afternoon. I crane my neck to look over Misha's shoulder. Shizune is conveniently not making eye contact with me. Fine, just for today. I've already told you, I'm not joining the council, remember? Of course, doing so could be considered. She looks down at her notebook, obviously looking for her place in her script. Under duress, and hence would be against regulations. How very strange of you to be considerate of the regulations now. Things should be done by the book. It's just that the book hasn't been written for every situation, so there are times when it can be ignored. And yet you two wonder why no one else wants to be in the student council. After poking her tongue out at me, Misha returns to her workbook, and we battle our way through the latter half of the school day. Before I can even stand up, Misha and Shizune have placed their hands on both my shoulders. Hey, I said I'd help out, damn. This is just insurance, Hisao. Insurance. I mean, it'd be only one class to repeat, yet at the same time, I'd be noticeable that it was on purpose because of how stupidly easy the class is. Oh my goodness. Hisao. Hanako timidly tries to leave the room by circling around us, and I suddenly realize that this may be my one chance to escape. Oh hey, Hanako, what's up? Hey, what makes you think you've got time to chat? Oh, relax, this won't take long. Sorry, Hanako, you were saying? I I was going to go to the library, and I thought... Hanako's thumbs dance around each other, and her eyes fit around the room, looking everywhere but at us. Sorry, Hanako, but Hisao has to come with us. He's got work to do. No, I want to go to Hanako. No. Oh, but you can help too, if you'd like. So how about it, Hisao? Oh. I've done enough work for the council already. Okay, I gotta save. And I think I already know the right choice. Okay, I'm gonna save. I'm gonna save it here. Save it here. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna ask, what do you think, Hanako? I think this is the correct choice. What do you think, Hanako? If we all help, it shouldn't take long at all. Hanako's finishing answers my question before she can even form the words. I really need to go. Well, that was to be expected. Looks like it's just me on the council's girls today. No! Load! Load! No! What? Let's see. I'm done enough for the council already. Hey, Shizune, I know I'd said I'd help, but I forgot I'd already made plans. Besides, I helped out more than my fair share last week, didn't I? I promise I'll make it up to you some other time. Shizune and Misha release their grip on me and have a long, deep, and silent conversation. Well, you have a point there. To be honest, we were only going to spend the rest of the budget on cakes. So if you're not there, it works out better. More cakes for us. There we go, okay. Shizune about faces and marches out of the door, and Misha skips out after her. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Last week those two were like bloodhounds, or prison guards. Or maybe prison guards bred for bloodhounds. I can't believe I just thought that, let alone saying it out loud. I think I need to move away from Kenji. Never mind. Anyway, should we go to the library? Sure. Hanako follows me through the still crowded halls to the library, using me as a shield. As soon as we are there through the door, Hanako bolts for the counter where Yuko is stacking books. Before I can catch up, Hanako has whispered something to her. You'd find that in non-fiction, but I don't know where exactly. If you want, I can look it up. Never mind. Hey Yuko, what's all that about? Oh, Hisao. Hanako was just looking for a book on... nothing? A book on nothing? Is the non-fiction section? In the non-fiction section? I was just... I should have glanced at Yuko. She looks like she's about to burst from the pressure of keeping Hanako's request secret. Yuko, what did... Chess. She's looking for a chess book. Oh, a book on chess. I'm like, oh, a pirate in his ship. I'm not leaving my team behind. Yeah, don't leave your team behind. Although that's probably me being a bad influence. Woody. Chess, she's looking for a chess book. I make a mental note to never entrust Yuko with any important information. Yuko? I'm sorry, Hanako. It just slipped out. Well, it's not a secret anymore. Come on, I'll give you a hand. I should really brush up on my skills too. That was two-part message. Say, hey Leather, I noticed this class you are passing with flying colors and you're suddenly drowning. Why are you failing this on purpose? I'm like a pirate to this ship. I'm not leaving my team behind. Nice. Oh, okay. Yuko disappears behind the counter in shame as Hanako and I wander into the depths of the non-fiction section. I know there is supposed to be a system for categorizing these books, but I don't see how anyone can decipher it without spending half of their life researching it. That's probably why all the librarians I know are neurotic. Towards the end of the aisles between a book and on card a book on card tricks, some book on kids' games, stands a single book bearing the title Chess Tactics for Champions. Before I can reach for it, Hanako has the book in her hands, clutching it to her chest. Well, I guess that's yours then. Mind if I borrow it when you're finished? Sure. I just hadn't really played against anyone but Lily before, so I thought... Damn, it's not like I was trying to beat Hanako deliberately or anything, but she seems to have taken it to heart. Then again, at least this means she wants to play me again. That's a plus, right? Huh. Well, it's not like I'm a master or anything. I just played a bit before. It occurs to me that I haven't told Hanako about my condition. I falter for a second, deciding to cover my tracks. That is a conversation for another day. Before I came here... Are you alright? Yeah, I was just remembering something. When I think about it, I shouldn't be afraid to tell Hanako about my condition and my time in the hospital. Judging by her scars, she probably spent a fair amount of time in a hospital bed. But for some reason, I can't bring it up. At least not today. Not on short notice. No, tell her. Eager to break off the conversation, I grab a random book from the shelf. It's some book on the world's fastest roller coasters. Published in 1982. Well, not very up to date, but it should at least be interesting. Well, we both got books now. Should we go sit down? Hanako seems to accept my bluff, and we head to the reading nook in the back of the library. Neither of us says a word. We simply open our books and start reading. I try to read my book, but it would seem that in 1982, roller coasters weren't nearly as large as the ones built in the decades since. Most of the ones listed are made of wood. Something about that doesn't seem safe to me. Why did that get automated? What did you say? Are you saying bad words? If I'm going to ride on something potentially dangerous, I want it to be made out of steel or some kind of space-age alloy that has big words like titanium and ruthenium. It's about spam. Oh, I see. True, a lot of old coasters were made of wood. That is true. I do remember, I've ridden on a wooden coaster before. It was actually a new wooden one. They made it wooden, it was like kind of like a nostalgic kind of thing they did. It was, I think they did it just to show, or just to have like one of their rides be kind of like a blast from the past. It was pretty nice. It was pretty nice ride. I enjoyed it. It's definitely not as crazy as the metal ones. I quickly lose interest, and my eyes wander across the reading area to rest on Hanako. Hanako seems absorbed in her book, flickering back and forth through the pages as if confirming what she just read. I wonder if that's actually effective, or if she's just overloading herself. She unconsciously brushes her hair from her face, temporarily revealing her scar tissue. I'm still not sure about the protocol here. Is it right to ask about her scars? Or her past? How long was she in the hospital? Does she still visit the doctor? You read I'm about to spam wrong. Why are you about to spam? These all seem like the questions that you'd ask someone. Wait. These all seem like questions you'd ask someone who just transferred to your school, translated into the local language. But to date, no one has directly asked me any of them. Well, except for Rin, but I don't think I should use her as a guide to proper social behavior. For the time being, I'm just keep my mouth shut. If someone wants you to know something, then they'll tell you. Trying to force the issue might drive Hanako back into herself. Well, the best thing to do would be to reveal your thing, and then maybe they'll reveal theirs. That's how you would go about that. Sorry to interrupt, but I have to close the library soon now. Already? I checked my watch. Somehow, as I was lost in thought. Lost in thought. Nearly 2 hours have passed. To see if that's get automated, I see. Do you want to check out those books? I can do it on the way out. please. I'm done. I dropped this one back on the way through. It wasn't as interesting as I first thought. Hanako marks her place with the slip of paper and stands up. The girls head to the counter, and I return my book to what I think is the right shelf. Yuko scans Hanako's book with practiced precision, yet still manages to fumble it. Oh, there you go. There we go. Third time lucky. Since this is a non-fiction book, you can only have it for 1 week. That's okay. Yuko shuts down the library computer and herds us out the door. I didn't think it was this late already. But you're the one that told us you had to close. Yes, but I know, but that was before I looked at the time. I'll see you later. Yuko bolts down the hall, her handbag trailing behind her like an awkward streamer. I guess all librarians really are neurotic. Huh? Oh, never mind. I was just thinking that I've never met a librarian that can organize their time, no matter how good they are with their books. Oh, I know what you mean. Hanako smiles in amusement. It wasn't meant to be a joke, but I must have reminded her of some other librarian or something. I have to get back. Yeah, me too. I didn't realize it was this late. Thanks for letting me hang out with you. No problem. I'm going to my dormitory room now anyway. So do you mind if I tag along? Oh, okay. Hanako sits off again, ahead of me, and I need to jog a little to reach her side. We walk through the gardens, and eventually arriving in front of the dorm buildings. Man, you walk pretty fast. I used to play in a soccer club, and you managed to outpace me. I kind of regret saying that. It has less to do with her pace than with the fact that my condition has significantly worsened my fitness. Hanako's reaction is odd. I expected an awkward attempt to downplay her walking speed, but she just blushes while looking at her feet and smiling. Silence hangs in the air between us. That happens often around Hanako, but feels slightly different than usual this time. After a few seconds, I try to break the silence. Here you go. See you in class tomorrow. Sure. Sure. No, I'm just kidding. Hanako waves a short goodbye before pushing her way through the dorm's doors. I stand and look at them for a while before making my way to my own dormitory room. Woody. I think I made the right decision. Man, I'm gonna second guess myself on every decision, aren't I? My goodness. Save. Chirping birds. Normally this would be a good time to reflect upon the beauty of nature. But it is 6 a.m. Excuse moi, Hisao. I manage my time pretty well. I help out my school library after I finish my lunch, and if I am let into the school when I arrive early. Oh, that's pretty cool. I don't think I ever went to the library aside for like, I think I've checked out maybe 2 books, and they were for like English class projects, I think. Woody. But yeah. Covering my head with the pillow. Yeah, we're gonna second guess a lot of choices. Because I want the good ending. I want to make sure I get the good ending. Because Hanako deserves it, you know? Covering my head with the pillow, I slam my face into the mattress, hoping that the impact will send me instantly back to sleep. Futile. I toss and turn, but sleep simply won't return to me. Alright, nature, you've won. See, I'm getting up now. The lack of sleep weighs on my mind down. There's only one remedy for this, a nice, hearty breakfast. It would be nice to be the first person here. To be the first to dig into a piping hot pile of food, to sit wherever I desire. It would have been nice. But even my exceptionally early start has put me behind the most diligent students. I guess there are quite a few people that have early starts here, for one reason or another. A group of students in sports clothes huddle around one table, eagerly discussing game plans in between inhaling great gulps of food. Scattered around the hall are a number of blurry-eyed students, probably suffering from the same ailment as myself, noisy birds. And of course, they are the people that actually enjoy getting up this early, the ones with their bags stuffed with textbooks and completed homework. It's hard not to despise people like that, even more so when you're tired yourself. Picking out a familiar face from the thin crowd, I head towards the nearest table. Lily sits alone, delicately feeling her way around a small plate of eggs with her fork. Okay, you two, what the heck? Oh, did you get automod again? Oh my gosh. How dare. It's almost a shame to interrupt her and her clockwork movements. I wonder if this is how a blind person zones out, simply moving in predetermined patterns learned over the years, just like how a sighted person would eat while reading a newspaper. Good morning, Lily. I didn't expect you to be here this early. Oh, Hisao. You startled me. I didn't know you took breakfast this early. I don't. This is an exception to the rule. I greatly prefer to be late to school than early to breakfast. Lily gives a small sigh at my admitted tardiness as I begin eating my food. It doesn't take long for her to lapse back into her previous mindless nibbling. Oh my goodness. Public library is to be shameful to say, apparently. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How do they not like public libraries? Don't forget all those girls are broken to some degree, so the roller coaster is going to happen. Plus your character is really bad with words. That is true. That is true. I think it starts off with the first part being good. Like everything's pretty nice. Like the first act, I think, will be alright. It's when it gets later when everything starts going downhill. And I'm gonna be so nervous about that. Each short motion lacks energy. I suppose this is similar to letting your eyes wander while performing any ordinary chore. But after a few repetitions of the find food, eat food cycle, Lily puts down her fork and dabs her lips with a napkin. Hisao, do you mind if I ask you a question? Damn, all I want is a little food and about 4 hours of sleep, and nobody says, can I ask you a question for a simple question? Sure. Do you think of Hanako as a friend? This seems like a leading question. I guess so. Why do you ask? No real reason. I do have another question though. Why is it that you think of her as a friend? This is well above my level. What is she expecting from me? I'm not really sure. I guess it's because she's a little different, the way she deals with people. Since I've known her, she hasn't really connected with anyone. She doesn't seem interested in other people, and I think people are a little off by her appearance. Scared? Why would they be scared of her? Really? I thought that kind of thing was well discouraged here. Discriminating and such. If I were to put it one way, she furrows her brow in thought, a move which makes me slightly anxious as to what she's plucking from her mind. I'd say that you're a little naive. Naive? I'd be insulted if not for the slightly cynical grin on her face. I see. While Yamaku has a stronger sense of community compared to the other schools, it's far from being free of conflict. Rules cannot remove human nature after all, only suppress it. That's something I've noticed actually. Just little things like how certain people and cliques avoid each other in the hallways. It's no different from my old school, really. Hisao is naive, and he also has a foot in his mouth syndrome. My goodness. He does. Even Lily and Shizune could be considered bitter rivals, even though they both seemed like fairly accepting people. Oh yeah, basically he says, really, like, when we did the Emmy route, he says something so bad that even I was cringing. I couldn't even read the whole thing. I was actually cringing the entire time. Says the wrong things at the worst possible moment. I still got the good ending on that one, but oh my goodness, did he say something awful? Oh my gosh. Woody. It doesn't help that Hisao is kind of brain dead. Like he didn't like realize Emmy's dad was dead or something like that. Oh my goodness. And it was like what he said was so terrible. Oh, so basically people when they aren't thinking. Yet it was so bad beyond Power Glove Pad. Yeah, it was really bad. Oh man. I couldn't even finish the whole thing. Oh my goodness. Well, at least the Misha tinted Shizune does. Who knows what actually goes on with her fingers behind her glasses. I guess you're right. When I first came here, everything was a bit of a shock. I kept on making mistakes, or at least thinking I was making mistakes. Like when we first met, and I said, I see to you. I didn't know if that was considered rude or anything, so I tried to just put it in the back of my mind, treating people any differently and that kind of thing. So I told myself that Hanako and you are and everyone else was just normal, and I tried to ignore the obvious. I talked to Hanako as if she were any other person, and so we became friends. At least that's how I think it happened. But you know, I feel guilty that just from saying something like that aloud, as if it took extra effort to think of Hanako or you or anyone here as normal people. I don't think that's right. Hisao, I think you are naive, but I also think that you are a good person. It is perhaps one of your better traits. I suppose. I can take that as a compliment. It's hard to accidentally insult a blind person. Tell me, are you free tonight? If you don't count homework, then I'm as free as the breeze. Or any disabled people. In that case, would you care to join myself and Hanako for tea? Of course. Or I don't really have that much money at the moment, so going out isn't really... Oh, I didn't mean going out. Just here, this evening. You can access the classrooms in the evening here. Oh, you can access the classrooms in the evening here? No, that's not what I meant. Hanako and I often use my room for tea parties together. Please feel free to drop by after dusk. Sure, I see no problem with that. What's your room number? 225. Room 25 on the second floor. Okay, sure. Now, if you're like me, you'll surprise them. Well then, I had best be off. I have class representative duties to attend to, after all. Until this evening, Hisao. Yeah, catch you later. Hang on, was I just invited to a girls' room after hours? Is that even allowed? There is the curfew here, but I've never heard any rules about visitors in the dorm rooms. Even still, this is enough to get my sleep-deprived brain jump-started. Add that to the lukewarm breakfast, and you have one hell of a pick-me-up. I grudgingly go to class, still a little excited at the prospect of breaking the rules. I feel a little like a kid planning to sneak out of his window at night. Well, maybe that's going a little too far, but when you compare an invitation to a party to 6 or so hours of lectures, I know which one wins. Misha and Shizune do little to relieve my boredom either. For once they seem determined to actually complete Motao's assignments. Nevertheless, the day eventually winds to a close. I hurry back to my room and wash up and comb my hair. Thankfully, I don't run into Kenji, thank God. Before long, I am leaving the boys' dorm. I nervously rap on the door marked 225, checking my watch once again. Is that you, Hisao? The door is open. You can come in. Lily's voice lits through the door and soothes my nerves. This is the first time I've been invited to a girl's room after dark. Even though I know there is no ulterior motive behind the invitation, it doesn't stop my mind running wild with possibilities. One guy, 2 girls, in our dorm room, with a tea set. When I put it like that, it sounds a little dodgy. Giving a small sigh to steady myself, I gingerly put my hand on the handle and open the door, craning my head to see inside. Hello. The door opens completely, and I catch my first glimpse of Lily's room. Sounds like a bad, Corno title. You know, that does sound like one of those plot lines. A really bad plot line. Oh no, he was invited to a tea party. The door opens completely, and I catch my first glimpse of Lily's room. Her furniture looks almost antique, but the bare walls and the flat surfaces are barely decorated at all. In the center of the room sits a low table where I see a small tea set at rest. It seems that everything in this room has its place, possibly excepting the several piles of books stacked up against the wall. Hello, Hanako. My sense of vision isn't the only one to be stimulated. The faint smell of something can be picked up in the air. Nail polish, perfume, makeup. It's hard to describe in any way other than girly. My eyes finish their quick sweep of the room before returning their position onto the girls. Lily sits next to a small table wearing very dark blue pajamas. Dark blue pajamas with shorts that show off plenty of her alluring pale legs. Opposite her, Hanako sits adorned in a conservative light pink gown. Her hands are firmly fixed between her legs, and her shoulders forward, and her head down as if trying to hide herself in it. It would be easy for her to do. It looks about 2 sizes too big for her. Waves of flannels flow from her frame, making her look like a child playing dress-up in her parents' clothes. She looks up to confirm my identity. The beginnings of a thin smile creep across her face before vanishing so fast that I can't be sure they ever were there. There's no point in you standing in the doorway, Hisao. I take a step into the room and closing the door behind me. Hello, hello. My. I'm afraid this really is a small room for the 3 of us. Would you like to take a seat? I slowly walk to the table and sit down, trying my hardest not to disturb anything along the way. I also can't help but steal a quick glance into Lily's top as I sit. To be robbed of sight would be most terrible fate. Well now, how about some tea? Hanako, could you please pour? Stop checking out Lily when Hanako's here, okay? My goodness, Hanako is the one I actually want to romance. Sure, Hisao, would you like? I would love some tea. Do you need a hand? No, I'm fine. Thank you. Lily finds it difficult to resist a smile at her companion's nervousness, something I can't really blame her for. Been a tiring day? Yeah. I relax at my place, opposite of the cabinet. Hell. Hello, Zora. Hello, Zora. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hello. To my left is the blue-clad Lily, and to my right sits the pink Hanako. The tea set on the table looks cute as well as practical, painted red with a floral motif. It looks odd when contrasted with Lily's plain but generally sophisticated-looking furniture, which leads to me to think that Hanako might have picked it out. Didn't mean to say hell. It's alright. I knew what you meant. Context a bit ago. A blind man came to my school. He asked if the audience had any questions for him. I was third person to ask a question. My question being, and I quote, "How do you experience a movie?" Why did I ask this? Because I was genuinely curious. He repeated the question, unsure whether he heard me correctly. He then explained that he turns on audio descriptions on Netflix. Oh, I see. That's interesting. I don't know, couldn't it be hard to experience I guess you're basically experiencing like a book, you know? My mind is going to several directions here. But the first girl, she had her own room. This time she has a roommate. Your room, maybe. Oh, I see. There is a slight ting when Hanako accidentally clips the teapot on a cup as she is pouring. She breathes in sharply. She must be really nervous, as it's not the kind of thing anyone would worry about. Hanako quivers at her mistake. It's okay, Hanako. There's no need to be nervous. RC was in your stream earlier, right? He was. Hanako seems to find some confidence in Lily's reassuringly soft-spoken words, and deftly pours the next 2 cups. Here you are, Hisao, Lily. Hanako carefully places a cup and saucer in front of Lily and myself. I could get used to a service like this. He popped in while he was streaming. While he was streaming. My goodness. I didn't know he was doing that. Thank you, Hanako. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. Lily searches for her cup, and upon finding it, sips delicately. I do the same. This tea tastes somewhat better than the tea we usually have at school. Oh. This is nice. It's so different from my tea I had before. Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. I said you have a very calm voice. I do try to be calm. Although admittedly, I can't really do any other voice, to be honest. At least not really. I can kind of like do my higher scared voice, but that's about it. Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. You've done well, even if it was a bold move. Hanako's smile returns redoubled. Even with her brightened face, her shy smile couldn't be called anything but cute. Varden has lower Varden and higher Varden as voice options. Now I wonder, can you get mad and yell? I can, but it's rare, and it's difficult for me to do. Like, yelling is a very difficult thing. I don't know, I just can't do it. I can do the whisper yelling, or quiet yelling, I can do that. But actually yelling? Ooh. One, I would have to be very mad. So yeah, it is possible. I think I've done it before, but it's not something that happens often. And something I can do on command. I'm glad you like it. Hanako finally beginning to relax, sips from her cup. Something about this makes me think about Lily's question at breakfast. Why am I friends with Hanako? Lily seems genuinely concerned for Hanako's well-being, but it's not like I can do anything to help her. Have you always had a calm voice like this? My voice has always been, I don't know if like literally calm, like as it is now, but it's always been low. It's, you know, like not very loud, you know. People do have trouble hearing me, mainly because I don't have a lot of volume to my voice. I do understand that happens. That. As far as I can tell, her scars don't hold her back physically, and everyone I've met seems to have overcome their disabilities to some extent. It's soft. Yeah, it's like a softer. I don't have a very bellowing voice, you know. I don't have any ulterior motives to hang out with Hanako. We just share similar interests. Isn't that enough? No, you must go out with her. I like it. It makes me happy. That's good. I'm glad. So Hisao, are you enjoying yourself? Lily's words break me out of my reverie, and I take a second to reconsider where I am. I am in a room with 2 girls in their bedclothes. This is something to be enjoyed. Yeah, it's relaxing. Almost like I'm not in the school anymore. Do you do this often? Quite often, but not as often as we take tea in the school building. Considering they do that nearly every day, that's not a big surprise. As I move to another sip from my teacup, I find it sadly empty. That was delicious. Thank you, Hanako, Lily. You're welcome. Yes, you are most welcome, Hisao. It's nice to have a third person here. Well, anytime you need someone to fill that position, I'm always available. Anyway, always. Your voice looks like this. Oh, thank you, thank you. The healing heart. One must be sure to get one's point across in these circumstances. Lily lets loose a yawn, which unsuccessfully hides with her hand. Pardon me, I think I'm a little tired. I think we're all a little tired. My, how astute we are tonight, Hanako. We really should head to bed. We all have class tomorrow. Yeah, I should go. Thank you for your presence, Isao. Thanks. You'll come again? Not even a whole army could stop me. I'm impressed by your determination, Hisao. Either way, you're right. We'd best get going. I stand up and make for the door. Hanako gingerly stands up behind me. I stop and face her. Are you coming with me? Hanako instantly blossoms to a full blush. No, not this room isn't. It's okay, I was only joking. Okay, good night. I'm tired. Oh, you're tired. It is getting it's getting late, you know. Getting pretty late. But don't worry. You shall sleep well, hopefully. Good night, Hanako. Good night, Hisao. I mean, if someone has a soft voice, they can strengthen it. Or that's just me, because I am working on expanding my vocal range and abilities for voice acting, because I enjoy my own suffering. It is possible. I've been strengthening my voice quite a bit, or at least I've been trying to. I've been doing a lot of voice exercises. Night all. And with that, our tea party finishes. I'm still not sure what it is that Lily wants me to do for Hanako, but I don't want to let her down. I wait until the door has closed behind us before turning to Hanako. Hey Hanako, you know, you don't have to be nervous around me or anything. I mean, we're friends, right? Right, we're friends. If you ever want to hang out or anything, just let me know. We still need to have that chess rematch, remember? Sure. But I don't think you'll win. It wouldn't be any fun if it was easy. Hanako seems to give a muted laugh, but she could have just as easily been exhaling. Good night, Hisao. With that, Hanako quickly retreats into her room, located next to Lily's. Actually, Varden, have you had interest in voice acting? I mean, I've had interest before. I've thought about it. And voice acting is more than just simply, you know, speaking. There's an acting component involved. I think that's the part I would have trouble with, you know. Right now I'm working on trying to see if I can get a male's voice range, because why the heck not? You could, I mean, I think the person who voiced Ash Ketchum in the early series, at least with the was it the Japanese? I think for the Japanese and English voice actors, they were women actors. It was female voice actors. That would do male voices. They're really good at doing child voices. My voice is too high to make a guy's voice. I mean, you can probably be able to do a child's voice. Like when you do a lower female voice, you can kind of get a child's voice, like Ash and stuff. Because I've noticed that a lot of kids are voiced by female voice actors. I start to walk back to my room, my dorm, but the simple act of walking seems to drain me of my energy. Barely make it to my room before I am hit by a wave of exhaustion. I did a dragon voice in one of my ASMRs. Ooh, very nice. I kick up and see him. I think the only voice acting experience I have is I did I did something for Goddess, one of her animations, and that was pretty fun. It was a good learning experience. I can do Ash in his 20s as a recovering addict, according to my classmates. Well, we do know he's an addict. I kick off my shoes, fall into bed, and fall asleep by the time my head hits the pillow. Doo-doo. Nice. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. And save. I'm gonna save. Doo-doo. Save. See. Let me drink some water. I haven't drank water in a while. I should probably do that right here. If I make another ASMR with a guy collabing with me, would you consider it with me? Maybe. I don't want to be committal just yet. Only because I'm unsure about timing. But maybe. Maybe. Would depend. Actually, does depend. Let's see. Maybe. I would consider. I would definitely consider it. That's fine. Just wanted to ask. I pull my door closed, ready for another day of classes. Sleep well. Oh my gosh, Kenji. Kenji's sudden arrival makes me jump, and I narrowly avoid butting heads with him. I know he has poor eyesight, but he knows I am who I am now. Does he still have to stand this close? Oh yeah, like a baby. Damn, why do people say that? Have you ever heard a baby sleep? They scream all night, every night. Babies don't sleep well ever. Anyway, I'm actually kind of tired, so I'm going to bed. Okay. Have a nice rest. Kenji is like our mic guy. We can't escape him. We can't escape this guy. Well, there goes my restful state. I have to remember to never use figures of speech with Kenji. Alright, I get your point. It was a figure of speech. Yeah, sure, whatever. Where were you last night? I had a favor to ask, but you weren't around. For a split second, I considered telling Kenji the truth, that I was spending time with Hanako and Lily. Thankfully, that split second passes as soon as it came. I was just out, checking out the local area and stuff. You know, recon. Good man, good. I knew you were the type to plan ahead. Anyway, what was the favor you wanted? I was going to get some takeout, but I needed change. Oh my gosh, wait, what? I gave you money last week, and you still hadn't paid me back. I was still starting to think you were cool. I hate you, Kenji. I'm sorry, I just don't like you. I don't usually have strong language towards people, but oh my gosh, I just detest you. I detest you to my very core. Kenji fishes around in his pocket and produces his wallet, and he counts out the 400 yen he owes me. I can clearly see that at least two 10,000 yen notes. Hey, what the hell? Why are you borrowing money off of me when you got that much cash? Kenji hisses a little, realizing that he's been had. Get off my case, man. It's bad luck to break a big note for anything less than half its value. It's the tycoon rule. Oh my gosh. And he has money. So he's had money this entire time. Last night's dinner is going to cost me 7 years of bad luck. 7 years. Don't you think that's enough cause to help someone out? I get a shorter sentence if I just stole the stuff. My common sense screams at me to say something to him, but thankfully I restrain myself. Arguing a point like this with Kenji will just lead to further and more complicated decisions. Kenji's the type to be a crypto bro begging when he's got cash from striking lucky. They're like, yeah, I got all this money, but can I borrow some money? My goodness. Gosh. Oh, is that even, I mean, I know it's not as popular as it was before, but man. Ah, man, it's still a thing. Odi. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe you should plan these things a little better. Yeah, man, I know. But I've got so much stuff to do. It's hard. And you've never and you're never around anymore, so I'm on my own. We're supposed to be brothers in brotherhood, remember? Yeah, I get you. Global conspiracy and such. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Kenji draws close to me to get a clear whiff of his garlic-tainted breath. You'd better, man. You're already spending less time here. That's the first thing they do. They'll try to split us up, divide and conquer. Sun Tzu said that. Roger that. Now I got to be going. I got classes. You coming? Nah, I'm tired. I stayed up all night just to make sure nothing was going to happen after splitting that note. As rational as ever, I see. Whatever. Night. My goodness. Kenji scurries back into his room, and I hear him throwing his locks as I walk down the hallway. We need a new cryptocurrency that only a few are farming off of. I don't know, then that will make it less valuable. You know? I don't really believe in the whole cryptocurrency thing. It just feels like a scam, because in order for its value to go up, you need more people to buy into it, which is just, it's the very definition of a Ponzi scheme, you know? But at least a Ponzi scheme has a product. There's not really any product with this, you know? Like you need to always have investors for crypto, exactly. Because as soon as there's no more investors, that's when its value just plummets and drops. Which is why I think crypto is kind of dumb. Because it's not like you can actually use any of it to buy things. Wait. And it's not like you can use the crypto itself to do anything. Because at least with like physical assets like gold, there's still a thing of gold. I mean, it's still as, you know, and like gold can still be used for things, you know. Every time I think of a scam, I think of the watch selling episode of Hey Arnold. I never watched Hey Arnold. I was never too into it. Although I did watch the other stuff. That is why some people can't roll their tongue, and why their second toe is longer than their big toe. The watches were crappy, and one guy sold them via middleman like Gerald Arnold's friend. I see. Mutao Varden. What? Oh, not watching Hey Arnold. You've been deprived. Well, I didn't watch Hey Arnold. I did watch the other stuff though. There was a lot of other cartoon shows during that time, and I watched a lot of those. I can't remember what one of them was called. Oh my gosh, I can't remember a lot of those cartoons back then. I was under the assumption that crypto had monetary value. It only has monetary value because people give it value. Basically, the more, if you were to, like the crypto itself does not actually have value. It has value because other people want it, you know? Basically, as soon as nobody wants that crypto, the value just goes down to nothing. Yeah, belief is the value. Which is why I don't trust that stuff. Mutao beams a half-mooned smile at us, obviously proud of his explanation of recessive genes. However, no matter how impressed he is at the science that defines who we are, the classroom seems to be reduced to a stupor. Why is it that a bad explanation can make even the most interesting thing seem worthless? I can see Mutao deflate as he realizes that nothing he's said in the past half hour has sunk it. Whispered conversations start to break the silence, and like an avalanche, the noise level in the class starts to rise. Defeated, Mutao identifies some questions from the textbook and sets to clearing off the blackboard. Almost as if expected, Hanako packs up her things and leaves as soon as people start talking and laughing among themselves. The initial shock of seeing someone play so blatantly Tehran has started to fade, but it doesn't stop me from wondering. Is she leaving because she doesn't want people to speak to her? Or is it just the thought of people around her shattering her peace? Before I can think about the topic of any further, the lunch bells ring. I wonder if she was simply taking the opportunity to leave early. The usual clamor of students exchanging books for lunch reverberates around the room. While Misha is distracted, I grab my lunch and head out the door. At least none that any ship would trade in, because England was at war with those countries. Oh, I see, I see. Lily already sits in the tea room, setting out her lunch alone. So, Hanako's not here then? Oh, Hisao, how are you? I hadn't met Hanako since this morning, I'm afraid. That's right, Hanako and Lily live next to each other. Somehow I think their morning conversations are slightly more grounded than Kenji's ramblings. That's strange. She left class early, so I figured that she'd come here. So she's still leaving class early. Huh? Yeah, I've seen her do it a few times. Lily drops her head a little, and her tone of voice is notably depressed. It's very reminiscent of someone who is used to hearing bad news. I was so sure that she'd stop doing that once you two became friends. Everyone has their own pace, I suppose. Well, I was wondering about just that today. Why exactly does she leave? I'm not entirely sure myself. I personally think it's because she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to answer someone. I have a flashback of my first meeting with her, when I thought she looked like a cornered animal. Maybe I wasn't far from the truth. But she seems fine with talking to you, and with me a bit. It's a little more complex than that. I imagine that the first thing most people ask her about is her scars and what happened. She rarely talks about it with me, but I can tell that she doesn't like to remember whatever happened back then. Leaving class, running away from discussions, is her preemptive strike, if you will. Huh. So then how does that explain her talking to me? You said it yourself yesterday at breakfast. You tried to ignore her scars. Once she saw that you weren't going to ask her about that, she opened herself up to you. I guess you're right. Maybe, I don't know. You know her better than I, so I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm sure you'll come to know her as well as I do soon enough. I welcome the prospect of her having a new friend, and the two of you have such a similar interest. Well, I hardly count reading as a team sport. It is good to have company, though. That's my point. Hanako is still an average person at heart. She also wants company at times like that. See, I think, to be honest, both of you still confuse me a little. That's only natural, Izao. You've only known each other for a little while. It's unreasonable to expect you to understand us, just as we can't understand you. But that is half the fun of becoming friends, right? Just ignore the elephant in the room. It will be fine. I think the best way to handle it would be for Hisao to open up about his problem and his scars, and maybe she'll open it up. You know, it's up to her to open up about it, to be honest. But yeah. Hanako, I mean. Yes, it is. Although, I suppose there is the matter of us being opposite genders. Men and women do seem to confuse each other quite often. She says this with a light giggle, finding amusement at the odd little details of life. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to start eating. No, go ahead. I think I'll eat something too. I've got some books I want to drop back at the library before classes start, so I'd better get a move on. You'll probably find Hanako there as well. If you do see her, can you tell her to stop by my room later tonight? I'd like to talk to her. You're not coming? Unfortunately, I have a class representatives meeting later, so I'll be gone as soon as I'm finished my lunch. Okay then. If I don't see her in the library, then I'll tell her in class. I'm sure she'll be back after lunch. We fall silent as we start to eat, and I take a second to reflect on our conversation. I've always thought that Hanako's shyness was simply due to her being self-conscious of her scars. But that is a pretty superficial way of looking at her. Just when I thought I was able to see through the fog of Lily and Hanako, I realize that I'm more lost than when I started. Lily quickly finishes her lunch, acutely aware of her meeting, and I don't blame her. Shizune is most likely going to be there, and I doubt she wants to give her the satisfaction of another argument. I must be off. Same time tomorrow? Same time, same channel. I'd better head off too. I don't want to risk being late. Lily smiles gently, picks up her cane, and walks out into the hall. I turn my back at Lily as we head into opposite directions. For some reason, I find myself hoping she doesn't get into another fight with Shizune. As much as I like Lily, Shizune and Misha have been pretty instrumental in helping me adjust, even if half of our conversations are thinly veiled recruitment attempts. Then again, I barely know either of them. Maybe they were previously leaders of some kind of secret society, that their love for each other drove them apart. Man, I need to stop reading cheap fiction. It's rotting my brain. Either that or I've got to move away from Kenji and his bad influence. It's sad that I can't tell the two apart anymore. I slide my books down the return chute, and they crash into the cart with a pleasant thud. Yuko, however, doesn't seem as impressed as I am. Hisao, you scared me. Lily gets into fights with Shizune? She does. I mean, she gets, in the first act, they got into a fight, I believe. And you can choose whether to side with Lily or side with, Shizune. Sorry, I thought you would be used to that by now. Or is that literacy level here so low that nobody borrows any books? Huh? No, I think everyone here can read fine. Yeah, never mind. There are some battles that you can never win. Trying to explain jokes in one of them. My dad taught me that the hard way. Say, Yuko, have you seen Hanako about? She left class early, but she wasn't in her usual hiding place. I think I saw her sneak in before lunch. I am turning off my autocorrect. Be right back. Alright. Oh, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. I just told you that I saw her leave. No need to stress out. Oh, of course. She's probably in the back. Thanks. Get any new books in recently? No, sorry. I'll let you know when we do, though. Okay. Is there one thing I know about librarians, part-time or otherwise, is that they appreciate people who take a genuine interest in their work. I walk the now familiar path to Hanako's reading nook, picking out a few titles along the way. Sometimes I find it hard to discover a book that will interest me among the shelves. An author's name and a two-word title don't mean much in a sea of similar words. For that reason, I sometimes reread books that I read in the past. Better to bet on the favorite than a new runner. An unfamiliar title from a familiar author peeks out among the spines and its neighbors, so I remove it from the shelf. And I make a typo already. Behold how bad my spelling is. At least I'm not going over old material. It's alright. As expected, Hanako sits on her beanbag, buried deep in a copy of Dance, Dance, Dance. Hi Hanako, how's it going? I fight back the urge to ask why she left class early. If Lily's suspicions were right, then asking her about that could have the opposite effect. Best leave it for the time being. Sometimes the best way to get an answer from someone is to never ask the question. Hello Hisao, I'm fine. Something seems off, and after a couple of seconds, I realize what it is. Hanako's smiling. She looks as if she's pleased to see me. It's a nice change from the usual, instinctively frightened reaction. It's something I hope I can see more of as we get to know each other better. Truly an inspiring word. Bakam. Or B.A. centimeter. Good to hear. How's the book? I've heard it's a trip. It's good, I think. I've only just started, so I don't really know. Fair enough. Let me know how it goes. I may borrow it once you're done. Sure. There's a good 15 minutes left in lunch. Not enough to really get into a book, but too much to stand around doing nothing. Bah, centimeter. Exactly. There's a good 15 minutes. Oh, did I accidentally? Hanako's already returned to her reading, so I doubt I'll get much conversation from her. Oh well, I'd better make myself comfortable. I slouch into a beanbag and crack open my book. The familiar style of another of the author leaps out at me from the very first line as the sentences turn into paragraphs. I start to relax a little. But no matter how I try, I can't seem to get myself into the atmosphere of the book. This is partly due to the lack of time, but the more distracting factor is Hanako. Every 10 or so seconds she peers over the top of her book, but when our eyes meet, she quickly ducks behind the covers. I guess she did want to talk about something after all. What's up? You look like a prairie dog on lookout. It's nothing. I've told you before, nothing means something when you say it like that. Hanako squirms a little in her beanbag, hoping that by changing her position, she'll find the words she's looking for. I was in an accident. Oh, she's gonna... Accident? Just now? Are you alright? Hanako shakes her head, her hair flowing around her shoulders in wisps of amethyst on a background of pale and dark flesh. No, when I was younger. Oh, she's telling me the story. Realization crashes into me like a semi. When I was... It's alright, Hanako. You don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to. Again, she shakes her head. No, I have to tell you. When I was young, I was in a fire. My house burnt down, and I nearly didn't make it. After that, I was alone. Oh, her family died. Hanako's eyes glisten in the dim light of the library, and I reach out to grasp her hand. It's okay, Hanako. You don't have to keep going. But I have to. Why? What brought this on? Last night, Lily told me about your heart. And I didn't think it was fair. Fair? That I knew about you, but you didn't know about me. Oh, shoot. I squeeze Hanako's hand a little. Don't be silly. But yes, I have a heart condition. I lean a little closer to Hanako. What I didn't tell Lily is that I had my first attack when a girl confessed to me. I smile a little to break the tension. Really? Really, I hadn't heard from her for a while though, so I guess it's all over. I know it's all over. There's no other way to interpret what happened last time I saw her. In some ways, not having heard from her again has helped me move on from the period of my life. So now we both know a little more about each other. But you don't have to talk about things if you don't want to. Oh, a funny thing, time to say it, oh my gosh. In fact, I feel a little bad even thinking about the whole incident. I can almost smell the hospital's disinfectant burning the back of my sinuses again. I imagine Hanako is going through the same thing now. When I was in the hospital, I went to the burn ward once, and only once. I was bored, so I went for a walk through all the wards. I went through the ecology and thought I could take it. But when I got to the burn ward, I turned around and went back to my bed. To think that Hanako would have spent months in a place like that, smelling nothing but corrupt skin, strong disinfectant, and sterilized air. Wow, so now they both know. The really bad cases were kept in isolated pods that no foreign objects could enter. That would have meant no reading. I would have gone insane if I didn't have my books in the hospital. And she said she was alone. Wow, their experiences are actually very similar because he had a the heart attack and he had to spend months in a hospital. And then she was in a burn ward. hmm You can walk through the wards in a mental hospital. No, it wasn't a mental hospital. It was an actual hospital. And see, did her parents die? I'll have to ask Lily about it. I can't imagine myself saying something dumb unintentionally. Oh, now you don't want to say dumb stuff. My goodness. Thank you, Hisao. I hadn't told many people about this. To be honest, I hadn't told many people about my circumstances either. Then I won't tell anyone either. Deal. I changed my grip on Hanako's hand to a handshake as the warning bells chimed through the window. I didn't mean to add mental. Well then, we better head back to class then, huh? Sure. Nice. Oh. Oh, I'm at Act 2. Oh, Act 3, I mean. That was Act 2. That's a good place to end it, too. Oh. The tint of the room slowly changes from the shine of the afternoon. Well, I should probably end it here, actually. I think this is a great place to end it, because the start of the new act. Okay. But, this is actually a really good... I think this is, a very good canonical, relationship. Only because their situations are very similar. They have similar interests, which is reading. They had similar experiences, which was the hospital. You know, things like that. I think this is a very interesting relationship. Okay, thanks for the stream. See you next time. Yeah, see you all next time. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I certainly enjoyed the game. I'm finally now doing her path. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad. Woody. She is definitely, not to say Emmy's bad, but I prefer Hanako. And they do have a fair number of things in common. That they do. Well, I hope you guys had a good time and enjoyed the stream. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I shall see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.